Hey, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for bearing with us for a few minutes there while we figured out some stuff off stream. Though we did see the first round go the way of Toledo here in Coastline, so nothing stat wise from that we could see because we had to handle some difficulty stuff. But I think it's all good, as we'll hopefully be jumping in back soon enough.
Yeah. A very strong match that we're looking forward to. Technical difficulties aside, I am ready to see map 1 on Coastline. I don't know about you, Cherish, but I'm set. And here we go, going into map 1 with team names. God, my kryptonite. Cherish, please take it away from me.
Toledo and California's Santa Barbara.
There we go.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it should be interesting for this one here upcoming.
Yeah.
As our feed is a little messed up in a second. I've at least got nothing, but we'll figure that out.
Hey, don't worry, I got this. I may not be able to get team names, but I can do some good shoutcasting. But yeah, so it looks like we're all set for round 2, and we're going to be going up to hookah and billiards with a 6 pick from Castle to Warden. A 6 from Castle to Warden, and there's no Ying on the board either on the side of Talento. That's wrong. But we are going to see the 6 pick come out on the side, on the blue team, the attacking team, from Zofia to Capital, trying to get set up with some utility.
So a pretty interesting setup from both sides. I think it's pretty normal, really, most of these operators on Santa Barbara. But the Warden is very interesting, especially if you look at Toledo's lineup. I guess you can deal with the Capitals, but I mean, in reality, where is this Warden going to swing out to, you know? The most common spot I'd say for an execute would be the A site through Aqua, or the what do you call it, or the main hookah side. But even then, I mean, those are going to be fired off, or someone's going to be hanging on the window, hopefully, of hookah to control the play from anyone swinging into billiards. So it's, or yeah, the billiards window. I don't know why I said hookah window. But yeah, the point is, there's someone always going to be there controlling the swing from the Warden. So even if he does find one, 9 times out of 10, he's going to be taking it out himself, and he only has the SMG-12 anyway. So it's a very unreliable pairing that he has should he want to swing and contest any gunfight. So I want to see really how Jasp is going to play out this operator, as the downstairs clear is already coming through. And this is further an interesting spot from Elec. Normally you see the Wamai and Aqua.
Second floor.
Indeed, a minute's already off the round 2 timer, and we're going to see no frags coming out from either side. The pressure coming into Aqua, and now Valkyrie connecting with Juice. That's going to be the top fragger of Toledo down. And that's going to make it a 5v4 already, showing signs of life against round 1's apparent loss.
Bomb located by attackers.
Definitely a huge find from for Juice of all operators to be going down. And the first one, my disc, is going to eat a firebolt, interestingly enough. There's no flashbangs, I think, anymore. I don't know if Enslaze is going to be running those flashes, or if he's running reaching charges. I'd have to assume flashes, but only having 1 or 2 discs here is going to be pretty interesting for Santa Barbara to deal with. The second firebolt is going to come out and not find anything. Is almost swung back on his Okami, but he's not going to fall. He's going to try and take that gunfight with Whoosh, but not find anything. And now with this last minute left, it's pretty interesting here to see how Santa Barbara is going to opt into defending here, if they're going to be aggressive or fall back to sight. But further, how Toledo is going to pivot around this 4v5. Hopefully a 4v4 here, as the Valkyrie is going to be seen out, but only tagged so much.
Now the air jets try to cut off the rotate from the defenders. As only 30 seconds left on the board, they had to start pushing sites soon, but the defenders are stuck in. Jaeger not doing anything against the Capital as he pushes up, so that's going to make it a 4v4. Billiards is now falling under the control of these attackers, and now there, my disc goes off to get rid of that frag grenade.
15 seconds to go.
There's only smokes. All the smoke canisters are still up, though, so this is pretty doomed, I'd have to say, from Toledo. They're evening out the frags, though, and the plant is coming down, but it is quickly denied. The smoke with 2 huge frags, and there was just not enough time. Toledo was too slow on that attack, all in all. And because of that, Santa Barbara is able to even out the scoreline here.
Yeah, with that in mind, now it's all tied up, even up, and now we're going down to Kitchen instead of going back up to Hookah, which is kind of strange in my opinion. Oh wait, not strange, they won. I'm a dum-dum. They're going down to Kitchen. No one seems to want to go Penthouse. I don't believe they won that when they went upstairs, and it doesn't matter even if they did, because round 1 went to Santa Barbara. So going down to Kitchen, let's see what they have to cook up for these attackers.
I'd be interested to see who the
Defenders, protect your
where
bombs
the
from being defused by attackers.
second site is gonna be, or rather the third site, should Santa Barbara get there. Obviously, if they lose this round, we most likely won't see their third site, at least until later on in the half, just because regardless of how the site turns out the second time around, they'll send it to Hookah. In round 5, you can expect. So it's interesting now where this defense is going to go. They've got a pretty standard defensive lineup. There's, interestingly, well, actually, just kidding. There is a good bit of
5 seconds to go.
breach capability on the attack, both with Poseidon on the sledge and Breadboy opting into breach charges alongside the Ash of Juice has breach charges. There's a lot of breach charges on this lineup here. So there's going to be a lot of destruction should even Poseidon fall, and the lines of sight will be locked out. But a nice find from Breadboy on a pre-fire taking out Jasp. That is not how you want to start these rounds off, obviously. And for sure, I mean, if there's an operator on this lineup you would want to lose, I'd say it'd probably go Jaeger then Doc, just because of the slight bit more utility that the Doc brings than the Jaeger at the current moment. But still, it's one of the preferred operators you'd want to lose here.
Yeah, Min already off the round now, and they're pushing up a lot closer, droning out main lobby now as Smoke tries to take out the intel coming out from Toledo. Now the pressure starts forming up above as they're going to be clearing out Penthouse and trying to get some above pressure on Ash, getting lit up by the smoke, 50 health now. But the Habana pellets as well as breach charges are going to put a lot of pressure on it.
Smoke is in a pretty interesting position too. He's opted into the kitchen as opposed to sitting down further, and because of that, he's going to get punished by Poseidon. Not sitting close in the pantry, hiding further on site. As all of this destruction, there is not a moment or a bit that is not destroyed here, rather, upstairs. And there's so much control and pressure being opted into by Toledo. They still have a minute left, and all the defenders are basically forced off site. Okami's forced into an awkward spot here, as at least a refrag is opted by Chris here. But yeah, Okami's in an awkward spot. He's in between the site, really, of Kitchen, as the other 2 defenders are forced over by Coolside. Okami's going to take more shots, get pushed back deeper, as the plant is going to start coming down from the IQ. Rather, Foosh is going to be dropping that one. Airjet's going to hit Chris through a wall, as now the spray to cover the planter is coming down. The Wamai of Elliot goes down. The Maestro as well, and the Jaeger's cleaned up, as I'm stumbling over my words, and a clean round all in all from Toledo.
Very well done coming out from Toledo to capture the kitchen objective, making it 2-1. And already 3 rounds in, they're taking a little bit of a lead on to Santa Barbara. And having to go back to that kitchen objective, I don't know. I hope something changes. To see the same lineup, to kind of quote Albert Einstein, insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So something has to change on the side of the defense, on the side of Santa Barbara, if they want to catch Toledo off guard.
Yeah, something really has to change on this defense here, and we'll have to see if they can do that again on this kitchen service. Obviously, it's gonna be probably Jas playing pretty safely, but I mean, even looking way ahead here, you have to think, should they lose this round the same way that they just lost the last one very single-handedly for Toledo? You have to think from there, how is Santa Barbara going to opt into their further defenses? Because especially if they win the next Tuca site, most likely next round, or what will be next round, where do you go? Do you go into the kitchen that you keep getting slammed on, or do you go to another site? I think that is a bit too far ahead, a bit too presumptive of all things, but we'll have to see how they want to change up this defense. And already there's pressure upstairs that we didn't see from them before.
Yeah, they are going to bring a Mozzie this time. I don't believe there was a Mozzie in last round, so that's going to be a little bit of a change. And they're going to have, I believe, a stronger second floor hold. And also, Doc's going to actually remain alive, not going to be pre-fired by this IQ. So already, that's a plus. They get to lead into the round with 5 operators against the 5 attacking operators. So
ADS deployed and ready to go. Got a house standing up. Second floor.
The Mozzie's playing very aggressively upstairs as well, all the way through Pent, thanks to his nice little rotate that he's got out through the hatch as he's doing Mozzie things. He's eating drones consistently. He's gotten, I think, 4 for himself, or rather, no, just 3. He shot 1 and snatched 2 more, so he's making a lot of noise up here. But the thing is, should he get into any gunfight, there's no refrag, and I think that's a big problem point here for Santa Barbara. They are really putting Alec all on his lonesome, as now he's going to drop and still die. There's still no refrag, as Foosh is nicely just watching that rotate out from the pantry side and from the Lambo door, and because of that, there's no response still from Santa Barbara.
I will say, having the Mozzie upstairs did buy a lot of time already. It's halftime, and now Habana's going to take out. That's going to be Maestro off the board, so that's going to make holding kitchen even harder. Hopefully, Cartwheel doesn't get pinned in bathroom like he did back in round 3.
Further on, the Maestro falling is huge. That is really your denial operator. Now that Cartwheel's forced into an awkward spot, he can't really safely smoke things off without putting himself in massive danger here. So we'll have to see how he wants to opt into this, as now Juice is getting on the aggressive side of things. He's going to start looking for one, but he is shut down further. 0-3 cosign is not his map today, as now Cartwheel falls, and this plant is all in favor of Toledo. This site is all in favor, but Jasp and Chris have something to say about that. Jasp is down pretty low in return as he stims himself back up, but he's now looking for Foosh, who's trying to plant. He's going to confirm onto the dock and just up to the Jaeger now of Chris. He's not able to hit the planter, but no, a nice headshot from Chris is going to shut it down. It's all up to Poseidon. Poseidon has to push through now. He has to push through 3 sets of barbed wire, and he's not going to find the kill. The shield is still in the way, and a massive misplay, really, from Toledo, as they were unable to find what they needed. They were getting too aggressive and too slow on things.
I will say that in my opinion, all came down to Doc not being killed up from VIP. I really thought that Toledo had that in the bag as soon as I saw Doc running under that open breach from the first person point of view of one of the attackers, and just the fact that Doc was able to get away and stem himself, he bought enough time, distracted the planter, allowed Jaeger to get into a position to counter him, especially when the planter moved even further inside. So Toledo just not connecting with their shots and not having good coordination as time ticked down, that's going to tie it up at 2-2 now.
Yeah, the 2-2 is very nice here, obviously, for Santa Barbara, but further, I think it's I think it's a lot better for Santa Barbara, honestly, than for Toledo, just because you come to expect the coastline to be a very attacker-sided map, is very frag-focused. There's been a lot of talk in the past that even it was created with fragging in mind rather than the standard way that maps are created in Siege. So interesting to see now how Santa Barbara is going to pivot out these next 2 rounds, and rather Toledo as well. How they're going to have to opt into these rounds knowing that really you have to win out the next 2 to not be at a disadvantage here. And they're attacking a site of Hookah Billiards that they didn't really, they split 1-1 on it. So whatever happened off stream on round 1, they really have to replicate it these next 2 rounds if they want to avoid going theoretically into the half with a disadvantage.
Now they're starting with their underneath aquarium clear. They're going to try to find out any roamers, but I don't believe there's really... Nope, there's going to be one on blue stairs, but otherwise first floor is going to be clear of any defender. Ozzy's going to try to keep any good intel for his team without losing his drone, but it's just going to be a slow push as we were seeing back in round 2.
My magnets will protect us. Perimeter defense active.
Interesting that every operator is upstairs this time around. Now it's Tokami on the Wamai and Alec on the Mozzie. So we're not seeing the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie player is not playing downstairs anymore. So Tokami is lurking closer to site to use those discs better, as the Mozzie is running on cool stairs. And now the push is going to start to come in. The smoke is nice, but Juice shut down further. Alex gets the better of him there as this attack is now stymied again. They are struggling to push out the Jaeger from behind the shield as Bread Boy is taken down as well. I don't know if Chris is aware of that, but considering that there's no bullets coming back his way, he must know something is going on here, as this is just such a solid hold from Santa Barbara, and it's looking like really there's nothing bad that could be happening for them here.
All right, they've already run this site twice. They have an idea of where Toledo is going to push, so they've prepared for it. And their setups make up for the mistakes that they made back in round 1 and even the few ones that they did in round 2. 40 seconds on the board, 22nd minute is going to be quickly approaching on the horizon, as Toledo needs to start pushing in and taking advantage of Aquarium.
Huge frags from Chris. He's not able to pick up the third as he goes down behind Fwoosh behind the pool table, but a nice shot from the Wamai up on an uncomfortable, awkward spot. Not really seen, as now it's up to Poseidon to push through. He's got 1, but will the caster be able to do more? He's got little time, and the MP5K from Okami picks up its 2nd frag of the round, and this is a great launch-off point for Santa Barbara, but now you look at it, this is something I was hinting at previously. Do you go to kitchen service? Actually, they can't go to kitchen service. I forgot they won it out. So
I think we're going to see Blue Bar. That's my guess. And Blue Bar is going to come out. Teams don't want to go up to Penthouse because of how easily you can secure Master with a good VIP as well as the big window hold. Or at least that's what teams have told me in the past whenever talking about sites on this map.
Yeah. Yeah, the window hold without the Miras really ruins this map, and since Mira is a staple ban, it's pretty common that you don't see penthouse holds. Penthouse, it's come to everyone's attention really, especially without Mira. I think it's a combination of losing Mira as well as just teams figuring out really how to not be cautious about it.
Protect your bombs from
The
being
problem
defused by
is
attackers.
for a lot of teams is that once you see the Mira, a lot of teams will get very cautious about things because obviously it's a one-way sight line. You can't really see back through it, but the defenders can see you, so it makes a lot of attacks awkward because you have to always keep that in mind and constantly keep aware of that that problem point really of pushing a site. So I feel like once that got removed with the operator bans early on, and a lot of teams kept trying to hold Pen and losing it because attackers weren't cautious or as cautious really.
5
It
seconds remaining.
helped teams really realize how easy that site is to take. So
Attackers are moving to
there's
defuse the bomb.
now been no real penthouse holds outside of a one-off site here or there meant to try and get a freebie round off things, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any of that here. And instead, it's going to be a bit of a vertical hold in a sense. There's some construction being done upstairs by Okami alongside the help of Chris. But it's pretty interesting as this hold should really and could really be dealt with fairly easy by by Toledo should they attack it correctly here. But regardless of how this round ends up, Santa Barbara is in a good spot heading into the attacking side. Already fallen back from his position here, though, in the hookah side, as he's going to try and get aggressive on a Juice. Tagged up a good bit for his troubles, though, about the same health. No, he's down a bit more than Juice here, but ooh, almost taking the head off Red Boy is Juice. This attack is stalling out on the hookah push, and that's very, very rough going because you should be splitting between the Aqua and hookah sides because now Chris can fall back fully. Toledo doesn't have all that much pressure, and there's just so much time still for Santa Barbara to work with 5 guys up. There's a minute left. They don't have that much time for Toledo to push, and Toledo's only just now getting map pressure.
Yeah, but there is a lot of secureness. Look at all these open areas that they can put pressure from, as well as both hatches being open. This holds a lot of opportunity for where they can push from, and if they want to change their push later. Already Zofia gonna try to find some more vertical pressure as Smoke finally starts using his canisters. More pressure coming out now from above Sunrise, and 30 seconds are left on the board as a Claymore is gonna claim the first kill onto Castle.
Changing mags.
Yeah, that frag doesn't really mean a ton aside from a body going down. As now all the smoke canisters are coming out, but a nice frag further onto Cartwheel. The Maestro goes down as well. It's a 5v3 as now the hot drops are coming in. Smoke is going to have to get pressured out first, but Bread Boy with a team kill, at least he's able to take down Alec. The Smoke gets one as well. No, he did not down anyone, actually. The plan has to come down. It's all up to Chris alone, as it is a 1-on-3 now. He's pushing forward. He's at least going to clean up End Slays here. Poseidon and Bread Boy all alone. The fast-firing G8 and the slower-firing L885. But the L85 is the one to pick up the frag onto Chris. And the run of Santa Barbara is stopped at 2 rounds, and the half is split at 3-3.
So with that, we go into the side switch, and now we're gonna go ahead and go back up to Hookah and Bill Ayers, the favorite side on this map. And we're gonna see a very, very similar setup, except we're gonna be missing the Jaeger that we were seeing over from Santa Barbara. What's your thoughts on Jaeger? Would Jaeger change anything in the long term, or you think that Toledo's setup, as far as operator utility and its potential, what do you think of it? in comparison to Santa Barbara right now?
I think that the thing with Toledo is they're not really a flexible team with their operators. And the reason I'm going this route is because we saw consistently, especially in their Villa matchup, they didn't really bring both Jaeger and Wamai. If they saw something like a Capitao, they would instead opt into the Wamai in place of the Jaeger. It would be Red Boy swapping off. There's no dedicated, like they will consistently play the same operators every round, every defense round. There's no real flexibility with that. And because of that, I think it's a big problem point for Toledo that a lot of teams don't really exploit. We're only seeing that now, I think, because it's Coastline, but Jask on the sledge alongside both Sophia and Ash, as well as the Capitao. There is so much utility here that is just not going to be dealt with. You're not going to have the Wamai to help deal with the Capitao. No one's going to be in Aqua to slow down that push or help deal with the Capitao. There's not going to be really, theoretically, any ADS to zap up the frag grenades, since there's both operators that can bring flashbangs, or rather, that should bring flashbangs in the Nomad and the Ash, both have brought flashbangs now. And you still have all the Zofia stuff that you want to further burn out an ADS in if you have to in the end. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, I think Jaeger is not enough, especially on this site, especially on Coastline in general. Jaeger's not enough alone, and Toledo needs to realize that and understand that.
Speaking of Jaeger not being enough alone, he's going to be downstairs with Mozzie trying to hold off the attackers from taking the first floor in Blue Bar, as well as Sunrise. And we're going to see Jaeger actually go down. Red Boy is going to be stuck under the hatch, and he's not going to go for the long-term stim. He is, and he's going to get the res off. Is he going to be punished for almost taken out from the rotation hole? Firing back now. And Zophia's going to connect with Smoke off screen.
Juice getting a gunfight with Chris, almost loses that one out, but not in there. So we'll see now further how this round is going to play out. The smoke has already fallen only halfway through the round, which is a huge find from Alec. Nice job there from him, as that is really, especially for that safe plant that should be coming in very soon, or at least is being pressured here by Santa Barbara. That should be really the safe spot. That is their only denial for it. And now Toledo has a minute to stall out this safe plant, and not much utility for that. At the very least, Cartwheel is pretty low, very low, as Alec is on half health and Chris is getting there. The Maestro Cam's going to keep zapping, take down Cartwheel the one hit, but the Maestro Cam is lost now, and this is going to be bad for Toledo.
Of course, only about 30 seconds left on the board. Capitao is going to start pushing forward with Maestro stunned and firebolted and smoked. All the utility dump coming in as he's going to go for default plant. They're just waiting for any sort of C4, some sort of counter to come out. Mozzie's going to push forward, and it's going to come out too late. Going to connect with two, however, going to make it a 3v3.
15 seconds to go.
This is very insane that Juice was not punished, honestly, on that push out, and because of that, I think Jasp was running the shotgun too, which is very interesting. But in reality, especially with Enslays pulling off with, he fired 3 bullets on the Alda and then went for the full reload for who knows what reason. And I think because of that, Toledo really threw the round away at that point. And still, Juice is able to walk up and get a free C4 despite, you know, in theory, the way Juice gets that C4 is Enslays covers the rotate so no one can swing wide and kill Juice, or someone's on the window and can kill Juice. That is all shut down by Enslays, and Juice can't get the C4, or can get the C4. There was no cover from Enslays because he's on the reload, like I said, for who knows what reason. And then from there, there's no cover on the plant. So Juice can get a free C4 further. It's all in all, like, that was just a messy end to the round that really was all in the hands of Santa Barbara. And because they had poor positioning, they had 5 guys stacked in Aqua ready to suicide forehead on in and just shift W on their way into the site. They really threw away a round that they should have won.
Indeed, and now we're going to be going into round 8, back to Kitchen. And I'm really curious on how they're going to hold the second floor. You know, are they only going to contribute Mozzie to, like we saw Santa Barbara doing? Are they going to be able to hold out long enough in order to deny them the time that they need, put optimum pressure onto the site? I don't know. Like, while this is, like you were saying, an attacker-sided map, if you can stall for enough time, keep them unconfident on your positioning, then
Yeah, we'll have to see how the defense is going to be opting rather into this. And I mean, there is some upstairs pressure at the very least, but Okami has opted into the buck rather than the sledge, which I think is further a misplay. Is calling it is not the right way to call that, but the idea still stands. You know, I think the sledge is far better in any situation than a buck, just because of the inclusion of the frag grenades. But now Chris is going to hear the Jaeger here. Breadboy is going to shoulder peek and win out the gunfight. Very easily done by Chris, as now it is all Juice alone here. We've seen him in solo positions handle pushes very easily, but from here, I mean, he's in a tight pickle. Chris has to walk himself in, can't drone, and he's taken down. So Santa Barbara with a very solid start to their lead here, and things could be downhill very fast here for Toledo.
indeed, halftime is now approaching, and I still gotta say, I think I prefer the Buck just because he has that distance. Minute 20 now, and they're starting to clear out. Only 2v5 now. We're gonna keep the pressure up. Time's starting to tick down, and just Poseidon and Ensley trying to find this out. The LMG is gonna start popping out towards main lobby.
We'll have to see now how the rest of this round has to play out. It's a 2-on-5. This is so awful for Toledo. They have to contest so much, as now Enslays falls to Kyle, as I've been pronouncing his name wrong apparently the whole way. Poseidon is all alone, holding out from the spot. He's at least able to get one, not able to find Kyle, or rather the Zofia. Oh. And all right. They called rehost anyway. All right, everyone, thank you so much for sticking around through all the delay problems. It's greatly appreciated. As if you're just now joining us, we split 4-4 for the first 8 rounds of Coastline here as we are jumping back on in. And it's been very, a really just a swinging back and forth affair so far from both teams here. How have you been? How have you liked the showing so far here on Coastline?
I think this has been an amazing showing. Just having it tied up. Potential to even go all the way to overtime on map 1 is amazing, and we are going to see finally something change up from Toledo. We're going to see Vigil come out on Kitchen for perhaps a little bit of a roam game. So I'm set to remain vigilant about that.
This has been something that I've seen a good bit as well. That Juice will usually it's Bread Boy flexing from the Jaeger to the Wamai, and Juice flexing from his Mozzie to a Vigil. So interesting that we're seeing that, but definitely it's going to be doing a bit more in its own way to deal with the drones coming out from Santa Barbara, as you will be able to stall out those drones and force the attackers to stay on them for just that much longer to make sure they see you. That's always something that is kind of not really talked about as much in a way, just because it's obviously not as influential, but I still think it holds a big part in that. Just because you can't be seen doesn't mean like the attacker or whatever is going to be like, oh, okay, whatever, see you later, and then keep droning. Usually that is going to, it's almost like a domino effect. You sit there on your drone for that extra 12 seconds or whatever it is while Juice has his meter running, and you keep your drone in that area for 12 seconds, and while it recharges in half the time, I think is what it is, you get it back, and then the attacker has to stall out their drone. And sure, in that sense, on its own right, it doesn't help very much. It's not that bad, but further on there, the problem becomes you can't roam clear even deeper in, just because you have to drone, or you roam clear a lot slower deeper in, rather.
All right. We are going to see Juice playing with Red Boy upstairs, try to hold Penthouse, as we are going to see Santa Barbara moving around to try to put some pressure onto them. Ooh. Wallbang almost finding out Vigil's going to do a little bit of damage, but the drones are not going to find him out just yet, as he's going to start rotating around now, getting out of that master bedroom area, heading on over to the theater, actually dropping to main lobby now. One worry with that is that leaves Red Boy all alone to try to hold theater and Penthouse by himself, and odds are we're going to see a pinch maneuver come out from Santa Barbara as they push from both the hallway as well as VIP.
Reloading. Red Boy was able to rotate out. There was no pinch. That is actually so poorly played by Santa Barbara there that they didn't fully pinch out the Jaeger, and now they're going to take even more time to full clear this. And from there even, Bread Boy and Juice, if they want to, if they can get past Kyle here on the flank as alongside that air jab lurking. Oh, a nice pre-fire from Kyle. Almost secures Bread Boy, but Yeah, further on that too, just quickly, I do have to apologize for calling him Alec. Apparently his name is Kyle, so it makes sense that it's Kyle backwards, but I feel like it doesn't really matter all that much as Bread Boy and Juice are still on the roam, and we've got 30 seconds to go and full fives up. This is going to be a bloodbath.
We are seeing the vertical pressure come out now, so perhaps they can get enough of a foothold to secure one of the two sides and push on in. You know, Jaeger only being the one most lit on the defender's side. Smoke canisters are going to come out as Jaeger is finally taken out by Chris, playing on the Ashabana, putting pressure onto Kitchen now, and she's going to push in. Maestro finding her on a cam and taking her out with the Alda, as she's going to find one frag onto Smoke sitting inside.
Wow. Huge frag pick up there from Juice. Cartwheel, though, alongside Okami are able to confirm the other two. It's just up to Poseidon. Cartwheel is pretty low, so this plant is going to be denied, and actually is huge from Toledo. I didn't even notice the time. That's massive from Poseidon. A poor coverage from the C-spamming Doc by the Buck of Okami. And because of that, Cartwheel falls. I don't think he's killed, but he's just downed. But with that, I mean, that's Toledo pulling back into the lead, and that could be pretty big for them here on the defense.
Indeed. But I think Toledo is going to come out on top, and I'm going to tell you why. They're building the momentum coming off of the side switch already. That side switch, as well as the unfortunate technical difficulties we've had, is going to work negatively on Santa Barbara. They may want to just, kind of get to map 2 with whatever, heat they have, push back on map 2 and take it to map 3, But it's still only a 1-round lead, They still have the advantage. This is an attacking sided map, so they have the potential to take them out, but we're going back up to Hookah. And so if they keep wasting time, if we keep seeing it come down to 30 seconds to execute, odds are we're gonna see Toledo win this out.
Yeah, I think this is really the round that will define the rest of this match. I think it's very, very huge that Santa Barbara has to win this one, not just because it's it would put Toledo obviously on the 6 points, but this is the site that Toledo won out the first time around, and if Santa Barbara doesn't do something to fix what they had, the problem beforehand was they were very slow on their push itself. They didn't do much roam clear, and nice pre-fire, at least, hitting Red Boy on the bullet hole peak there. But still, I mean, back to what I was saying, Santa Barbara didn't really do a ton of roam clear. They didn't get a lot of pressure downstairs, and from there, they were not really able to push forward. Chris on the Juice, shutting down the top frag of Toledo. He's been struggling tonight a good deal. He's died in almost every single round while only netting himself 3 or 4 kills. Not the greatest showing from this top frag, but now it is Chris to get in his second engagement of the site this time around. And this is a great start from Santa Barbara. They already are fixing one of their problem points.
Yeah, only a minute off the clock. They've already secured 2 frags. They got to keep the pressure up, however. So it looks like it's going to be switching over to an aquarium presence with a little bit of under pressure from Zofia in blue bar. They're getting set up to execute. Going to try to find some intel as Ash is going to drone in for her team. And all the defenders are kind of set up for a blue/balcony hold. Cam is going to spot them out, however, so the smoke canisters may be ready, as well as the Maestro turret.
From here, though, I mean, there's a minute left, and Foosh is already pushed out of his position by the Hibana, which is something we didn't see from Toledo. Okami is going to find another frag off the back of things. Foosh is trying to find the Hibana. He's not going to be able to take her down. She's down to half health, though, thanks to the drop and the shots hit by Foosh. The smokes are coming out, but the planter is still up and alive. Cartwheel is pushed off just a bit as now the flashbangs are coming out. But they don't fully stop Poseidon. He's able to push back up and retake this position, play a bullet hole now. And he's going to be getting aggressive. He's going to take the head off Cartwheel. A nice shot onto the Nomad. He's playing more bullet holes again. He's back to it, but a great refrag shot from Chris. Picks up his third of the round. The smokes are coming down, trying to deny something. At least the Zofia is taken down on the back. Kyle falls to Foosh, but he has to put up a Herculean effort here. 1v4. At least 2 members are low, and one of them is down further. The Zofia is going to be confirmed with the shotgun, as Foosh is going to have to retake this billiards side all on his lonesome. At least the Ash is down playing drone here. But Jasp is not upside down, rather. He's sitting behind the bar there, and it's upside down from the Capitao. And Okami shuts out the round, and that was the round Santa Barbara needed to win, and they did just that, looking dominant on it, too.
Very strong push coming in. They didn't waste too much time to secure a couple frags, and then they continued on their momentum, not only continuing to put pressure onto the site, but securing intel to allow them to keep their push and momentum going. Very well done on the side of Santa Barbara, but are they going to keep it going? We're at 5-5 right now. It's still anyone's game. Toledo could still bring this back. So we're going to go back to hookah and billiards yet again, and we're going to see another 6-pick, this time from Vigil over to Ella. I gotta say, as far as the defender setup, I'm a little bit worried for Toledo, because while we do have juice 6-picking to different operators such as Ella, we're seeing practically the identical setups, such as that Maestro cam underneath billiard, which is always countered by either the Zofia or the Ash on the side of Santa Barbara. You know, I'm not saying it's a bad setup, but being so repetitive in your setup every single round that you go up here, up to this site, means that the opponent gets to know more and more about how you're going to defend it, and that just makes it for Santa Barbara to be even stronger whenever they attack this site.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no better way to put that. It's just each attack now that they've gone to, this has been the same lineup that we've seen. Just Juice is now flexed over to the Ella, but that's only a small difference maker here from Toledo, that where the rest of the defense is the same, and they know Juice and Breadboy are just going to hold firm downstairs. They know how to break down this attack. They know where they need to go. They know how Toledo is going to hold this in a general sense. And, I mean, everything is very much expected from Santa Barbara. Just having the one defensive style that you don't really flex around is a struggle for some teams to deal with on the defense after it's broken, like Santa Barbara just did so handily last round. And
I will say...
we have to see... What? Sorry. You have to say what? No, you go. What is it? Oh,
never mind. I was going to say that choosing Ella for Juice could be a good opportunity. Not only the recoil, with the potential to find heads, though it is now off the board, but as well as the concussion mines that can currently, in this current patch, that changes your mouse's sensitivity. On the test server, they've changed it to remove that effect, but this is going to be the last patch where that still can change the game.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he's put them down, I think. I think he's gotten at least... We saw one go off, so he's gotten some of them down at the least, hopefully all 3, but at least he'll be able to have some use from beyond the grave. But still, I mean, 4v5 already. It's pretty rough, and now the smoke is going to get pushed out from behind the pink bar because of just a single Hibana pellet. It's not even that he needs to be playing up here. Foosh doesn't even really need to, or rather, Jasp doesn't even need to play up on the roof. He just needs to open that up, and that denies a huge position later on in the round just because of the fear that someone could be up there, not even that Jasp is up there, that he could be. So we have to see now how Toledo is going to want to handle this attack, as it looks like Breadboy is going to try and shut things down from luggage.
We're going to see Jaeger do a little bit of damage onto Chris as he tries to push out this luggage hold, but both of them run out of ammo. Jaeger having to rotate away and losing his life actually as Ash pursues him. Or actually Capitale finding the shots from the window, so that's going to make it 5v3. 34 seconds left on the clock now, and now Smoke's going to be taken out from the double window all the way on the rappel, just beside an Ace Slayer to try to hold this out, and the Smoke utility is coming out now.
Attackers recovered the defuse.
I mean, still the Maestro is up at least from Slays, as he's actually going to be able to down Cartwheel and take him out with the cam, but a nice shot from the Ash leaves it all up to the Maestro. He has to swing out, and Santa Barbara has put themselves on the map point here. 6-5, and that is really rough going from Toledo, just being so easily read here by Santa Barbara, as the little bits that they needed to fix each and every round they did. As pointed out 2 rounds ago, their part of the problem point is that the roam game was able to rotate back up to site and bring things back. So they fixed that last round. Then part of the problem further also was the swinging player from pink side. So even with the Hibana opening things up the first, or rather, they didn't bring the Hibana the first round, my bad. But they brought the Hibana then, and it opened up and denied that pink side, as well as throwing someone on the window so no one could swing at all. And it's slow. It's really good job from Santa Barbara to be able to pick it up on these small little bits that Toledo keeps doing time and again, and being able to just outright confirm it.
I will say one little thing that I really admired on Toledo's side, we saw the Maestro actually put his turrets in a different position. He recognized that Ash was directly countering where he was placing them behind the billiards table, so he put both of them against that billiards aquarium wall. And that allowed him to at least get one frag onto the initial diffuse carrier when they were trying to plant feet. So that did buy Toledo a little bit of time, but again, the roam game not working out properly, between Ella being lost so early and then Jaeger not winning his gunfight over in luggage. It was just a collapsing house of cards, and that just happened to be the ace of spades among it. So match point in kitchen.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean,
5 seconds left.
what is it?
It's just going to come down to how they handle the roam game. We can see very weak roamers that get countered fairly easily, like we saw Ella get taken out back in the last round, or we can see them stall out long enough to prevent Santa Barbara from having enough time to execute onto site properly. And already, we're going to see Smoke being taken out from the window. And that is not what Toledo needed right now.
Yeah, at least he's still up, so Push has that at the very least, but he's gonna get docked up, so it's not as bad as it could have been. He obviously, the worst is that he dies, within the first 30 seconds. Second worst is that he gets rezzed with 20 health, but now I'd say the second best scenario is that he makes it out with 75 health thanks to the dock. Obviously the best scenario is he makes it out untagged, but at least Okami is going to try and take some of that HP off, brings him down to half health, and now the full pinch is coming out properly this time, it seems like, with on the flank side, Chris is going to be creating his pressure and pushing forward into Bread Boy here. The Jaeger has to stall out as much time as possible before he falls back, but Juice is caught on the other side of things, with Jasp staring him down too. So now Jasp is going to get aggressive, try and play a bit forward, as now at least the defenders can drop once again. They've wasted half the round, but still, that is much better from Santa Barbara. They're a full 30 seconds faster than the last time.
Indeed. But the one problem for Toledo, at least, is it seems that the roamers are going back to their similar places. But no, we're actually going to see Bread Boy rotating underneath Aquarium and Vigil over in Security, not at the bottom main stairs as we saw earlier when they previously played Kitchen. So no hints of Zofia being able to pre-fire main stairs and get a lot of damage onto Bread Boy. Fortunately, we may see someone getting trapped in bathroom yet again.
Yeah, it could be pretty rough going, but once again, I mean, the fast push is going to have to come out. There's still, while Santa Barbara is getting a lot of control, they don't have it in really the right areas, I'd say. There's not a ton coming out, and this round was won because Poseidon came out with a huge find. The firebolts are going to come in, the smoke is going to come out as well, and Okami trying to retreat for whatever reason gets shot in the back by the shotgun. At least Chris is going to take out Bread Boy upstairs. If Whoosh is taken down from above on the scrap of HP that he had left, Kyle cleans up that one. Poseidon is trying to find one as well, but Enslave is going to get one for himself. Cartwheel, though, is getting the plant down. Chris downs the Maestro of Enslaves, but quickly Juice is picked up after downing, or taken out after downing Cartwheel. It's all up to Kyle in a flurry of frags. He's just going to be holding outside, waiting for Poseidon to swing out on him. He's going to see the scan that there's a player outside. The Maestro is going to come pre-firing away. Enslaves is going to clean up his frag. And 20 seconds remain. The plant is coming down now. The defuse is on, and oh no! The wrong play, I think. Huge find from Kyle to clutch out the round. And that is map 1, the Santa Barbara 7-5. They should have had the Maestro sit on the plant because he was the low HP one, but because he just took a single bullet, that means not pre-firing the Zofia, Enslaves is going to fall early in the dock, able to be cleaned up quickly after that.
Yeah, just unfortunate. Toledo coming out strong, but we are going to see, in fact, that Santa Barbara is going to come out. One thing I want to note is that the smoke being found out earlier was actually wasting 2 stim pistols. It's just a small little thing that compounded onto this site, onto this final round. And, you know, unfortunate that Toledo couldn't hold out for an hour to put us into overtime.
Yeah, it is pretty unfortunate that they couldn't work their magic the last time like we saw in Kitchen. But away from that, we are going to be heading to a break. But just before we jump over to Border, so stick around through that, and we will be getting back to it soon enough. All right, and welcome back to map 2 here, jumping in from border. If you didn't join us last map, we just saw true barn burner, really. Santa Barbara and Toledo back and forth until Santa Barbara was able to figure things out on the attack those last 3 rounds, bringing it from 5-4 to 7-5. So they were able to win that one out on Coastline. So good job there to them. If you weren't around as well, by the way, I am Cherish. Joined with me for the night is DJ.
What's up, everyone? We got a wonderful map 2 planned.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, we got a wonderful map 2 planned. Map 1 on Coastline was actually Santa Barbara's pick, so it's good that they won that. But now we're getting set up to go to Border, which is going to be Toledo's pick. I think the players are more or less ready. Are you ready, Cherish, for this wonderful map?
Yeah, I am. It is Toledo's pick, and I have seen Toledo. It's right now. It's a really big clash. I think it is the strength of Toledo on Border against the adaptability of Santa Barbara that they've shown. Santa Barbara has shown to be very solid on the attack, especially since the big discussion point that I've pointed out is Toledo is very inflexible. So that is, I think, the big point coming into Border here, especially with Santa Barbara up a map. They now have to look here if it's going to be Toledo just outright winning the gunfights and being more comfortable, or can Santa Barbara just out pivot Toledo, particularly on these opening 6 attack rounds? Do you have any? What do you think is if it's if it's different than that? What do you think is like the big point here that for either side, for Toledo to push it to map 3 or for Santa Barbara to shut this one out?
I think Toledo is going to take it to map 3, and that's because they're starting first on defense here on Border. This is their pick. This is something that everyone's comfortable with. We are going to see the standard defense op bands of Echo and Mira, and we're going to see Blackbeard and Monty taking off. Or not Blackbeard and Monty, excuse me, Blackbeard and Thatcher, losing a little bit of my words. So with the loss of that, we're going to see a little bit harder for the attackers to push in, but the defenders are going to remain strong. Bandit's not banned. We're not going to see Kaid Bandit. We're not going to see Mute Bandit. So already Toledo's going to look for at least a 4-2 scoreline coming out of this. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a 5-1 or even a 6-0. The real question is, how is Santa Barbara going to handle it on the side switch? Are they going to be able to make up for any lost momentum that they had during their attacking run, or are they going to fall prey to Toledo's map 2 hold?
Yeah, and I really think a big point here to make is, I think in their UMass map against, or their border map against UMass, Toledo chose to start on D, I think. Or maybe I think they might have chosen to start attack, actually. No, they didn't get choice. I forgot. I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. The point is, a lot of teams have been opting into attack start. And that's what we see Santa Barbara doing here. Santa Barbara has opted into the attack start on Border. And Border has really become very awkward for the defense. It's a lot smaller of a map than most of the other competitive maps nowadays, if you think about it. Particularly Villa and Villa and Cafe have been like 2 of the more mainstay map picks, especially in high levels of play since the removal of Bank. Clubhouse is still around. Clubhouse is similarly a massive map. There's a lot to clear on these maps, and even though we don't really see it, Theme Park still fits that mold as well. There's just multiple floors, or in the case of Theme Park, even though there's only 2 floors, it's so wide, even without the train room anymore. It is just so wide, and the problem with Border, comparatively, is it's a 2-story tiny building. There's not much that the attack has to control, and now that these attacks have to come out clearing faster because of the 20-second meta, you now see faster takes on Border, and the defense has to stall out so much more than they would normally be used to. So a lot of teams are getting more used to attack starts, and defenses have to opt into different ways of controlling that. And my point from all of that rambling is Toledo hasn't really shown that. They still stick to it like it's a standard hold or anything. They still try to go to armory lockers initially that we don't really see from a lot of teams.
I gotta say, these first rounds may come out in their favor, and again, it's just down to the op bands. All that utility taken off the board. We're gonna see the Sophia come out, but Juice is actually gonna be the one to lose his life at the top of East Stairs. Jaeger gonna find a refrag onto the Sophia, but not much else gonna come out. It's all about trying to break into these armory walls, but the Kaid, it makes it so hard to clear that electric utility.
Yeah, especially not bringing a IQ is really the downfall right now, as a nice shot from Breadboy is able to confirm his second through the same murder hole, and a third. They're just running into this spot for whatever reason, all trying to challenge the same defender. I'm not sure what Santa Barbara was doing there, but it was clearly the wrong move, as now this round is firmly in this way of Toledo. There's no IQ, like I was saying, to help get those claws off the wall, so a good flex from Poseidon off the bandit to the Kaid. I couldn't think of his name for whatever reason, but this is also interesting. There's no triple wall defense from Toledo, and so that offers Santa Barbara a further opening here. Even if they're going to get smoked off in the last 15 seconds, all the canisters are up. The Maestro Cam is going to destroy Cartwheel's exothermic charge, and this round is a shutout here for Toledo. It should be over. Plant can't come down. Poseidon with a nice C4 on a Jasp. Cartwheel is choking. He has to run. He has no time, and Toledo just easily shutting out the round off a huge frag, a huge triple frag rather, from Breadboy.
I really don't know what was going on the side of Santa Barbara. Did the Zofia call out that she got shot from Vents, or was the Jaeger just in a different position at the time? And then afterwards, why do you cluster around the same angle to get fragged out? That's an easy 3K, and it's so hard to counter that given the positioning. I don't know, but Santa Barbara needs to change something. Hopefully it can change it, because now we're going down to the first floor. That was the only second floor site we're seeing, so there's no high ground advantage, as Obi-Wan would say. We're going to go over to ventilation and servers, and if that same hold comes out from above, where they just get a 2 or even a 3K from above, from inside of Armory towards the vents window, Santa Barbara is not going to last long on this.
Yeah, without a doubt, Santa Barbara is gonna have to figure something out too, because Toledo is no slack on the defense, or on the attack rather. Obviously, it seems usually like they're more defense-minded. They're more comfortable on defense, but I mean, still, at the end of the day, it is border. And while Santa Barbara does seem a bit more in tune with the map, in the sense that they want to attack initially and they got control very quickly, still I don't really think they're definitely gonna struggle on the attack side, or the defense side. Oh my gosh, as I'm stumbling over the same thought for whatever reason, I got all caught up. But we're going to see a couple newer ops that we haven't seen really a single newer op. Jasp is picked up the Jackal this time around, as now he's actually running PDW. Not a bad choice. I think the PDW is a good gun, but it just happens that C7E is one of the best attacking rifles, so we'll have to see how the Jackal wants to pivot around, since there's not usually a ton of traditional roaming on border.
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit of presence. This Vigil almost swings out into the sight lines of Zofia, playing a little bit carefully, not going to swing out just yet, trying to keep that pressure onto break room. So there's a presence of 2 or 3 attacking operators in there. Brown Boy trying to hold that armory from them, as the shots come out from connecting with Jazz. That's going to be the Jackal taking off the board as he holds this nice angle onto that armory doors. Now already halftime is quickly approaching. Flashes is coming out to try to force these roamers, these defenders, out of their positionings, but with the number of defenders they have upstairs, I don't really think they're going to be able to push through this way. No Thatcher to clear those bandits, nothing to really open up, and we're going to see Ash enter on in and just take out Breadboy. Juice is going to get the refrag, but behind, Kaid's going to connect and punish Ash for her aggression.
Yeah, this is good refragging off of Toledo there, showing just how comfortable they are on their rotations, and this is something we didn't totally see on Coastline. It was very just one-man push. If your man fell, then okay, see you later, I guess. And like I said, we're not seeing that from Toledo. They are instead now able to just refrag off one another and play off one another's backs. So it's all alone up to Cartwheel because of that 3-on-1, and it's definitely really rough going. Poseidon's still caught upstairs. He's going to have holes prepped and ready for himself as the thermite charge is going to be coming down. Slays, I think, is prepping to run through this thing. He is raring to go, trying to finish this round out, and he is just going to zoom into bathroom, not find anything off it, as he's going to wait for the thermite's back to be turned to him. He's not going to actually push out. Nope, there he goes. Baiting it out a little bit, but 2 rounds now on the board for Toledo. So a really good job from them shutting down the upstairs hold, or the upstairs push rather.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that these defenders didn't chase the kill. They stayed logical, they stayed, we have the man advantage. We don't have to push him. We have time on our side. Allow him to push into us where we have the advantage instead of just chasing. So very well done on the side of Toledo. That puts them up 2-0, and Santa Barbara needs to find some ground to stand on. Now we're going to see them go to customs and supply room, and again, not having them every day. They are going to bring the IQ at least, but that utility isn't going to really be too useful, I think, especially not on first floor site. They'll be able to see maybe the Kaids if they position it rather high, but being able to clear it, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, and furthermore, it's very interesting that custom supply is the choice here for Toledo. We've seen a big growth of bathroom tellers, particularly since the Invitational, where G2 picked that one up after it's been out of meta for a very long time. You didn't really see it played at all, really, outside of that matchup where they, or when they started playing it, and no teams, when they picked Border during the Invitational, until the playoff bracket where they could actually have prepped it. No teams really played bathroom tellers. It was, for about like 2 weeks there, it was really just G2's special strat. But from there, I mean, now everyone's adapted into it, and the reasoning behind that is the way that G2 showed to hold it is it's very helpful towards the current stall type of meta, the 20-second meta as it's been called. And that's because you have to clear armory lockers plus offices upstairs plus Vents Workshop downstairs, and then you can finally get to bathroom tellers. That's going through Cade Claws and deployable shields and smokes and this and that and Maestro cams, and it's the whole works of the stall meta, just what we're used to nowadays. And because we see now custom supply coming out, there's not much you have to control. There's normally not a guy playing where Juice is playing, which is very interesting. He's going to find a nice shot on a Chris because of that. Not expecting the Armory Lockers players. He's looking for more. Not going to find it, though. Not even going to find a tick of damage. He's taken one for himself, though, in return. And, I mean, as much as I criticize them, I guess, for their custom supply choice, it's slowly starting to work out for Toledo.
I will say the alternative going to tellers, I just don't see that working out. It's a little bit too close, and it's just not my preference to see as far as competition-wise. We are going to see halftime approaching, though, on the supply and customs hold, and again, Santa Barbara is just hard stuck right now. They got to push in. They got to take some part of the map and push their execute from that foothold.
The upstairs control, at least, is coming out now from Santa Barbara. They are slowly working their way in, albeit slowly. But Juice taken down after a gunfight with the Jackal there, not landing a shot back onto Jasp. So, albeit a bit late, it is even out in terms of operators now. Cartwheel has taken solid chunk of damage, probably from shots through the floor or a C4 or something, but boy, he's edging just into the view of Foosh. But no, he's not going to be seen as Foosh is looking for the operators running in and out of the upstairs. But now with 30 seconds remaining, there's not very much control, at least, from Toledo, or from Santa Barbara, even though a lot of this upstairs has been handed to them, really. That's the problem with this site. And I was saying, compared to Tellers, there's not very much you have to control before you can start really pressuring the site. And because of that, I mean, Santa Barbara is just so slow on it. They're now finally starting to push in. Akami's able to take down Bread Boy. Foosh able to refrag right back onto Akami, but he's holding a wide angle, or long angle with that shotgun, I think. Not able to find anything as Planter's coming down from Cartwheel. He's taking down Foosh, even things out. The springs are not working out, but a nice spray from Slays is going to shut one down. The Planter is killed by Poseidon. And no coverage on both ends means that it is a Toledo round, a Toledo sweep of the sites. They are looking good coming into the second rotation.
Yeah, I'm really scared for Santa Barbara because I'm looking at the hold for supplying customs coming out from Toledo. One simple thing could have potentially changed that. Bring Mav. He has the ability not only to use his blowtorch on the walls and potentially find out the bandits or mutes or even the Kaids, he also has frag grenades to clear out not only the utility, but potentially even the operator behind that utility if they're sitting in there. And the counter to that, of course, is Jaeger. But then you bring flashbangs on your Ash or on, your Habana or whoever else you bring. Even we see Thermite bringing flashes right now. We see Ash bringing flashes. They could clear the ADSs, put some frag nades behind that, and open up detention for a much quicker push. But instead, they waste a lot of time upstairs. They lose one, and then they can't hold sight because time runs out. They don't have anywhere else to go. But we are going back upstairs, so the IQ does have the potential to work well, especially in conjunction with the Zofia and the Ash. So maybe we'll see something different. Maybe we'll see finally that armory wall fall rather early in the round and Santa Barbara push in and perhaps stick around for themselves. But I just don't know. I don't want a replay of that 3K through the vents window from that half-wall armory hold.
Yeah, we'll have to see further now how Santa Barbara really wants to take this, but I mean, I agree. There needs to be something, dude. Communication, other pressure, splitting pressure onto him to get him out of this position, something, just so that, you don't feed into the meat grinder all looking at the same angle. It wasn't even like they were looking up, too, is the thing. I didn't see any of the other two operators looking up after... I think it was the Buck or whoever it was died there. The Ash kind of came in looking into the vents room and got annihilated. And then Kyle on the Zofia came looking into the vents room and got annihilated. And it's like they had no clue that he was up there. There was no communication that he was up there. It's very interesting, but I think this is now further where we're going to see the strength of Santa Barbara come out, and the strength is their adaptability, and this is something that's been talked about usually in the past. A lot of teams, a lot of the good teams, are very adaptable, especially on the attack, and that is something that, sure, you can be adaptable mid-round. Those are truly the best teams, but still, it is very good to be adaptable into a defense, and reading into how Toledo has changed their defenses, really, and, or rather, lack of, how they keep their defenses the same, means they can create a lot of openings for themselves, but that is an opening for Toledo, rather. That now the frag of Chris is down. Jasp also falls to Juice off the offside as Okami at least trades back on his Slays. The Maestro does fall, and we're down to the last minute here.
I will say the adaptability of Santa Barbara is good, but with Border being such a small map, it's so easy for these defenders just to flip around and deny that adaptability, and deny the change that Santa Barbara's trying to make. And already we see that with the man advantage in the favor of Toledo. Albeit Juice is very lit, but he's still there. They still have the man advantage, as well as the time advantage with only about 35 seconds left on the board. So I don't think the change is going to come soon enough for Santa Barbara. Not on this map, as it's already 3-0. Maybe on the side switch they'll find a little bit more luck, but they got to show me something to show that their adaptation isn't for naught on this very small map.
Yeah, nice frag at least by Cartwheel, but 10 seconds remain. C4s and no smokes at least. Just Poseidon has a C4, I think. But he's going to fall. That's a huge find as the plant is coming down from Okami. He's got 1 second left, but no, he's been downed. No plant is coming back out as Foosh finishes it off through the smokes. And a huge round that Toledo shouldn't have won. Again, they are able to make the magic happen, and they are now 4-0 on this map. And Santa Barbara, you know, you have to have a lot of mental fortitude in Siege, but man, they are definitely headed down the tilted road.
Yeah, it's again just this map. Santa Barbara did have an amazing start, you know, opening up that triple wall, taking advantage of something they knew from round one, that triple wall would be soft. They clear the Maestro Cam, but then they stagnate. You know, the defenders rally, they push back, they get a couple kills, they get the man advantage, and then time starts running out, and Santa Barbara just can't execute quick enough, and then they lose the diffuser right as they're trying to hold the site, and it's just too late to do anything else. Between the defenders being able to flip on a dime with this small map, as well as this being Toledo's pick, it's not looking good for Santa Barbara with it 4-0 going into round 5.
As many bombs as they can.
Yes, so, I mean, especially on border here. Toledo picking up 3 rounds, I think, is usually what you want to see. I'd say border, the way I like to word this is like 55-45 split attackers. Usually you see 3 threes is pretty standard, pretty common, but it leans 4-2 in the attacker's favor more often than not if it does go to a 4-2. But usually you do just see it be 3-3. So for Toledo to already pull out a 4th round after, I mean, to get the 3 rounds in a row, regardless of just getting 3 rounds, that is a good find for Toledo and put themselves in a good launch point already into the second half. And now to get a 4th and potentially, obviously up to 6, but even if they just sit at 4 the next 2 rounds and somehow botch it, it's a great start for their attack half. But further, I mean, it's just, it can only go up from here on their attacking half.
Spotted a bomb.
Indeed, indeed. It does look like Toledo's a little bit excited. Vigil being very pumped on how he's going to be able to defend this site, as we already see Ash posted up inside of CCTV trying to find where any of these rumors are, and Santa Barbara already being very quick about it, not messing around. My one worry is that they might not have the intel that they need. We are going to see the armor wall open up already. That's going to be the key. Kai Claw not quite connecting perhaps, or not quite Kai tricking in time against the thermite charge. So perhaps the pressure will come out to Bread Boy to make him pay for that 3K that he put onto Vent's windows back in round 1.
Oh, a nice nade. Bread Boy is too slow on it, and that is a big help at least. Somehow the ADSs behind there got burnt out, and now Jasp is gonna be the one to pick up that frag. Well, with the frag, no pun intended. So the push is coming through slow on the rotation as Juicing quickly swung back on. Chris shuts him down, and Chris for 2. Okami's going to be the one to steal that away, but this is really the round that Santa Barbara needed. They needed to work this fast action push and control Bread Boy from his position. And from there, they have just done work. They are now going to get to work opening up top and pushing out Slays and Swoosh from their positions here.
4 seconds left, however. That's plenty of time for Toledo to perhaps hold on to this. We're going to see the execute start coming onto ventilation as the Maestro Camp giving the active pings, but it's going to be almost taken out by Sophia as she gives herself a little bit of a concussion.
20 seconds to go, and it's looking flawless. At least Jast is down and taken out, denied the flawless round is UCSB, but Fuchs has to reload. He's being pushed from 3 different angles. He has to deal with so much here, as at least on pings, he knows whoever that is. Cartwheel, I think, has pushed out. But nope. Whoop. Almost gonna find him. No, prone. The IQ. It's a Nash, my bad. Able to pick that one up. Chris stopping the smoke from any more harm. And we have a rehost. The Santa Barbara picks up their first round off the back of a huge upstairs push. And, I mean, from here, where do you go as Toledo?
I think Toledo just has to finish this one out. Even though Santa Barbara will take a few rounds for themselves, I don't think they're going to be able to get the momentum. Not against a 4-1 scoreline coming out of the first half.
Further, too, on the alternative, where if you're Santa Barbara, how do you pick up the rest of this map?
I think Santa Barbara could do it. It's going to be rough. It's really going to have to depend on how they handle the side switch. I don't think Santa Barbara can do it, but the way they could do it, they have to survive by getting the 4-2 scoreline. If they get 5-1, Toledo could just nab a couple rounds and be able to win out with the 7 scoreline, regardless of what Santa Barbara manages to score along the way. That's my.
I can see that. Yeah. I think when it comes down to play, at the current moment, really, I think Santa Barbara just needs to play more aggressively. I mean, we saw it there. We saw it on Coast too. They kind of just let, what do you call them? They let Chris just shift W on into places and he finds kills. So that was pretty nicely going for Santa Barbara on Coastline, and they just haven't shown the same thing up until that last round here. I guess part of it is there's a way that a lot of teams like to work usually, especially against teams like Toledo, where they will keep the same strat going. And they usually, I don't say throw the first couple of rounds so that you can see their defenses, but you work it in a way that you can see a lot of their defenses. And then from there, it's like, okay, if we lost, that's fine. But you obviously still try to win. And that really pairs well with Santa Barbara's playstyle and general ability to counter strat is the wrong word, but just adapt to how the defense plays. They have shown a strength in that, and if they can just play aggressive in these next bunch of rounds and control Toledo, they really can shut this out 2-0, I think.
Perhaps, but I don't think it's going to come to that. I think we're going to map 3. Toledo's going to keep the momentum that they've been working with and just steamroll on board. I'm going to be honest, especially with this rehost coming in, I'm not sure if Santa Barbara is going to get the momentum that they were wanting off of that 5th round.
Oh yeah, I fully agree. I think while I want to sit here and say that I want what do you call them? I can sit here and say I want Santa Barbara to come back, or I think they will. I do think that it is just it's so tough for them to come back on this one.
Yeah, so tough, but not impossible. I will say if Santa Barbara makes it back, I'm gonna be real proud, because in my position, if I was playing for my college's team, I would be already thinking about map 3. If Santa Barbara pulls it out here on map 2 and manages to shut out Toledo, I'm gonna be real proud for them. not favoring any side, but when someone comes back from like a 4-1 scoreline on round 5, it's amazing. It's the most satisfying thing as a viewer, as a player, and as a caster.
Yeah, it is very much a stretch here for Santa Barbara. So it is just it's a stretch, really. I think we'll see Consulate. I agree. I mean, yeah, it's the big uphill climb for Santa Barbara because they now are down 4-1 on the attack on border, and at a lot of levels of siege, we see it shifting towards attack. So, uh, or rather, yeah, shifting in attack favor. So it's very very rough to be down 4-1, as we've stated, as I've said many times at this point. To be heading into the defense half, they really just have to be all in on this. But I think
And
just
as we're ready
starting,
to come back and
yeah.
see how round 6 happens, it looks like we're facing another rehost, this time on the side of Santa Barbara. So again, we're going to have to go to another little break. I think we're just going to cut it to a nice little break because I think we've done all the talking we can
Yeah.
do for what we've seen in map 2 so far. So I think I'm all set for a break as we rehost.
All right, jumping back on in here soon enough. We'll be coming back with Border. If you were just now joining us, we are 4-1 in favor of Toledo starting their last round here on the defense. And we'll now have to see how they want to pivot after getting really just slammed this last defensive round on Defense Workshop here.
I don't know. I'm scared for Santa Barbara because those two rehosts are going to kill any momentum they had in that 5th round, and that's going to damage their mentality if it's not already damaged by the 4-0 scoreline that was going on shortly before that round 5. So that 6 pick to Kaid, I'm not really too surprised by it. Wamai not really seeming to be a favorite of Toledo. Kaid just offers better utility for them, at least in their opinion, of course, to deny entry through those reinforcements. I don't know. It's going to come to the side switch. No matter what happens in this round, it's going to come to the side switch and how Santa Barbara handles their defense on whether or not we see a 2-0 shutout in favor of Santa Barbara or if we're going to map 3.
Razor wire ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's on Santa Barbara, obviously, to climb this massive hill just to be able to take this in 2 maps and not give Toledo the option of a 3rd map. So, at the same time, though, I mean, Santa Barbara, I think, can do it. They have a lot they have to work around, but they know how this defense holds. They know how Toledo works these defenses, and they know how they have to control this, I think. So it is really up to them to take out whatever minuscule changes Toledo puts in, as per usual, and continue from there. So I still think, he's stacked all 3 ADSs. Never mind. So it's going to be a lot harder for Jasp to just flash out. I think part of the problem is that depending on which side of this wall it gets open, I don't think the ADS range extends over if he goes to from the viewpoint of Bread Boy, at least. If he full nades from that right side wall closest to the railing, then I think Jasp's frag grenades will actually get past the ADS is stacked on the wall. I'm not so sure about that, but it is probably possible.
Range is a little bit shorter than those Wamaya frisbees, so even though all that utility is stacked up there, I think that Santa Barbara may still be able to clear it. It just depends, and the Thatcher Band is still going to work against them, but Juice being taken off the board already by Chris over in offices, that's going to weigh heavily in their favor, as they have now that pressure to put the pinch onto those 2nd floor roamers.
Chris has been working magic, too, for Santa Barbara on this Ash. He's 5-2 on opening picks. So he's going to drop and look for a C4 as Bread Boy is really left in no man's land now. He has to push against 4. Chris is looking forward, but he's not going to find the frags. And it's swung right back in favor of Toledo, and now Bread Boy can rotate out freely, even though he's on 1 hit. He's able to get past Okami, and now that is absolutely frustrating here for Santa Barbara. Shot from below, too. Jasp is going to start to get a little bit panicky as he's hitting the floor with that big sledgehammer. But this is huge for Toledo. There is now Okami on less than half, Jasp on just over a quarter. And with 30 seconds to go, even though they have upstairs control, Santa Barbara is in a really rough spot.
Yeah, they need that Sophia to rotate down to clear that Maestro turret, and I'm going to laugh if those ADSs that are still up in Armory play something for Toledo as the time slowly ticks away. 15 seconds now, and the smoke canisters are going to come out to deny the West, but upstairs, smoke's going to be taken out as Sledge is dropping onto site. Crossfire taking him out, however. Plant's starting to go down. Zofia covering, but going to lose her life. Thermite the last one up, and they're going to be cleaned off the board. Zofia has to withstand to try to defend this diffuser.
I don't even think she has time. No, the plant hasn't even started. Oh, they were waiting for... They were baiting out the withstand, actually. I didn't even realize.
Defenders have disabled the bomb.
Wondering why they didn't start it up.
Defenders win.
With that, Toledo's gonna take 5 out of 6 defense rounds in this first half. And Santa Barbara now has a mountain to climb. Not a hill, a mountain. As Toledo only needs two rounds. That can happen any point in this next side. And they're gotta be on a high right now to have a 4-round lead over Santa Barbara, especially on their map pick. Everything's lining up for them. So they have the green light. The only thing that can hurt them, I think, is overcockiness. If they let their egos get the better of them. And I'm not saying any of them may have it, but we all know that moment where we're like 3-1 in a ranked game. And it's like, all right, we can do this. Let's just run out on them or something like that. And then we throw it away in just a choked defeat. So I wouldn't be surprised if Toledo is affected by that, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they just go ahead and close that out in 2 more rounds.
Yeah, I think it's very rough going here for Santa Barbara for sure. I mean, we keep saying it's almost like we're a broken record at this point. We keep saying Santa Barbara has tough going. Santa Barbara, it's rough for Santa Barbara, this and that. But the thing is that I like seeing here, this is a Vents Workshop start, and that really clues me in that even though they're performing obviously numerically worse than Toledo, I still think at the end of the day, Santa Barbara is more in tune with this map, at least from a competitive standpoint. And to be honest, that doesn't mean the most, just because, I mean, now you have to win out 5 rounds out of the next 6 just to secure an OT, and I guess it hasn't really mattered if Toledo is in, or Santa Barbara is more tuned competitively with this map, because it just seems like by nature Toledo is more in tune with it, and they just feel more comfortable on this map than Santa Barbara did on the attack. So, I mean, sure, there was some struggle points where they should have won the round, you know, you have to say they should have, but they just didn't. And I mean, now we have to see how Toledo wants to bring it out, but Santa Barbara is showing that there's been a lot more Vents Workshop focused and Bathroom Tellers focus in the competitive meta of things, whereas Toledo went for a very standard hold of things, and I mean, it worked out for them, so we'll have to see if these more newer holds work out here for Santa Barbara.
And with that, we're already going to see the pressure coming out onto Armory Lockers. Jaeger briefly flashed as his ADS is already burned. Now he's going to be droned out a little bit as the attackers are beginning to put pressure. Sophia is going to be at half health, however. Juice, the main fragger for Toledo, try and find something to work with. And it looks like Thermite is able to open up one of the walls. I'm actually quite confused by that. Because I saw the Kaid claw connecting, but we'll discuss that at a later time. As the pressure is coming out into here, concussion mines going out, halftime's already passed now, and the roamers are doing their job, fighting through and through to deny the attackers the map territory that they need.
It's huge from Santa Barbara that they're able to stall for so long. That wall is open though, and so they can't rotate, but still they're stalling these attackers outside the main door. The main wall is still opened up, as now finally they're pushing in, but it's going to be a refrag at least. Juice onto Cartwheel, but the Jaegers picked up one. At least Bread Boy is able to confirm another, and still this 45 seconds remain now, and that's not a terrible spot for Santa Barbara. It's a little rough that they only have the gun from Alibi and no C4s, just whatever smokes Okami has, but no smokes or no C4s or Maestros means that it's just, oh, a nice find through the slit. I keep forgetting that that's a thing, but the smoke is going to cut off what remained of Swoosh as he was downed, and this is a good place for Santa Barbara. The smokes can really get to work here. As from upstairs, Jasp is able to shut one down. The smokes are stalling out the other attacker outside. There's one on the front door. Now he's jumping in. He's going to push. The Sledge is able to pick up one. No refrag from above from Jasp, but no, a good find from Jasp. Double kill. Picks up the planter of Poseidon, and it's just up the Slays. He's hit goo mines. He can't take it
Operators, you have
out.
run out of time.
And you see Santa Barbara with a nice hold upstairs, making Toledo waste 2 minutes. And that was very good job from them, even if it had to come down to a clutch from Jasp.
Indeed, indeed. And just the ability that they were able to reclaim the second floor, that's not something you see. Like, a lot of times you'll see teams collapse, try to defend site from the first floor. Going back up and taking the fight to those upstairs attackers when they're not expecting it is exactly what Santa Barbara needed to knock Toledo off of their high horse, knock them off of that 4-round advantage, and now it's only 3. It's still a mountain, but they're already past base camp.
Phrase it, I like that. Yeah, I mean, they're still slowly working up the mountain, and I think, I mean, it has to be said, I think, that really the flexibility and comfort from Santa Barbara is going to help them massively on this defense. There's, we're not seeing, we're not seeing the Wamai this round. It was 6 picked off in favor of, I think, the Valkyrie, or rather the Maestro from Elec, but still, I mean, that is, I think we've seen now in the past 2 rounds, I think we've seen 8 defense operators or something like that. Maybe actually, 8 different defense operators from Santa Barbara, whereas I think we saw 7 or 8 defensive operators over the 6 rounds for Toledo. I mean, the sheer flexibility already that I think needs to be standard in a team is being shown by Santa Barbara, whereas I think the better way to phrase it is that Santa Barbara is more standard with it, whereas Toledo is very unorthodox and rigid. Yeah, rigid is a good way. So it's very interesting. This is a nice hold, too, from Santa Barbara. I love this hold that was showcased back at the Raleigh Major last summer. And it's basically the Doc fortifies himself over in offices, has a peek hole made from a shotgun into CC and break room, and he just watches the door. And this was really the hold that started out the triple wall defense, I guess, from a lot of teams. That is now pretty common.
Yeah, nice to see that Santa Barbara is pulling from playbook of some of these pro players, some of these nice setups to try to take it back to Toledo, but I'm still nervous. I'm really nervous, especially since I don't know how Thermite was able to get that armament wall open earlier. Maybe they got the key claw and I just didn't notice it and it just came online afterwards, but
I think the way that claw gets set up is there's one at the top left. Oh, it's going to get removed by Juice. We're going to see that. There's one usually in the top left right there where they've been pinging it out near the sign, and another down like closer in the bottom right or something. It's just in really hard places for the IQ to have to find rather than like anywhere on the wall or something.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna open up behind the vent. Actually, my bad. Go on.
Behind the vent. That's not a bad positioning, but it just still makes me worried. If it's always behind the vent, how did they clear it in the first place? But I'll just have to experiment with that after the match. Pressure coming in. Zofia taken out in break room now by the Doc, using the Riley Major, if I can say Riley correctly. It's going to make it a 5v4. 1 minute left on the clock now, and Toledo has to start pushing somewhere. They got to start collapsing and putting pressure on this defense. Pressure will be finally found as Cartwheel is lit up to 25 health, and shots are coming out from Chris, trying to keep the attackers off that armory doorway. 45 seconds now on the board.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
Now we're going to see Doc take away the hard breach that's going to be sped off the clock, and now he's going to go for one more. He's going to be very lit, but stemming himself up, he's going to do a little bit of damage to Bread Boy. And he's not even going to shy away from it. Going to reload and keep peeking it, keeping the aggression up. 25 seconds now, and the attackers are just stagnating against this. IQ's the only one seeming to push anything. The Ace Slayer and Poseidon, I'm not even sure what they're doing to put the pressure onto the defenders. Do hear a little bit of drone work and some connection onto Doc, but just not enough time. They have to rush. IQ losing shots. Nomad's going to connect with one Doc, trying to find a fourth for himself, but going to be taken out in time. Just runs out now, as it's just Sledge all by himself. Defenders taking round 8 now. And Toledo has got to be getting nervous, losing half of the round advantage that they had.
Yeah, I mean, now Bathroom Tellers, I really think Toledo, or not Toledo, my bad, Santa Barbara has been playing these defenses very strongly. They are playing very comfortably here on their defenses and looking very solid. And from there, I mean, Toledo's been very slow on them. Toledo's been very slow on these attacks, and they're playing. Santa Barbara is just playing their rotations and everything exactly to a T that they need to be. And I think this is going to be a reverse perfect half for Santa Barbara. I think that there's no way, with how cautious this defense is comparatively to how comfortably Santa Barbara is playing these defenses are, the caution of the attack is really going to be a problem point massively here for Toledo, just because that is what this Bathroom Teller's site prides itself on. It prides itself on wasting attacker time, and it prides itself on just taking so long to attack. So in theory, if Santa Barbara does prep themselves up for it correctly and really handles it well, then I can't see this. I can see this very easily going 5-4.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, I can see that for them. My one fear for this map, looking at how Santa Barbara is rallying, my one fear is that perhaps we're going to see an error 5-1, go to overtime, and it's simply going to come down to whoever gets the final defense round over in round 15, overtime, final match, overtime for this map. And that's going to be horrible if it comes down to that. I'm scared for that because the Thatcher ban is so detrimental to the attacking operators. Perhaps we'll see Toledo come out with a Maverick or IQ and, just light up Santa Barbara, but it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous for both teams that the defense is going to be much stronger than the attack thus far.
Yeah, this is a good angle too from Jasp that we don't normally see. And oh no, already Toledo is falling into not a trap really, but they're falling into a problem point. They're not really clearing these roamers. They're all focused on the same side of the map. There's no pressure from CC or Armory. There's no pinch happening. And because of that, because of the operators that are upstairs, specifically that mute castle combo, if they can rotate out through Armory, there is infinite rotations thereafter for Santa Barbara should they get pushed out from above here, just because they can very easily rotate through the hatch down into vents and then push around from there. I mean, it is just so slow from Toledo right now.
I gotta say, slow is probably the best way to take this Teller's site, if I'm honest. Like, just not pushing in there thinking, oh, this is the black sheep of all the sites on this map. You want to be careful with how you push this, make sure it's right. And look, they're securing open area, preparing for the push on the site. Of course, they're not clearing the roamers, but if they keep an eye out for them, because they have to return the site at some point, then you don't have to clear them out necessarily. This site's advantage for the attackers is that they have to come to this side of the map. It's not a big site where they can rotate into, let's say, archives and then rotate to armor. They have to drop directly into site, perhaps from this hatch into Teller. So, and now the shot's coming out, and they're prepping to clear these roamers and push into site at the same time from the looks of it.
Yeah, nice shot by Juice, and cleaned up is the castle as well. The push is in full swing, but Cartwheel shutting things down. He's picked up 2 for himself. He's looking for more further on to Bread Boy, but I think that G8 is going to beat out the TCSG should they come to blows. The diffuser is secured by Bread Boy, as now he's going to drop down into sight, hopefully. Poseidon is going to keep himself upstairs, but I'm not sure. No, Bread Boy did not drop the hatch, and cautiously waiting is Jasp, who's going to start smoking things out. It is 10 seconds remaining, though. And now swinging into Poseidon's view, Cartwheel is going to go down. That is bad news bears for him. But the plant is going down as well, not swinging wide. And Toledo puts themselves onto map point now in an attack that I really didn't think was going to work out like that.
Honestly, I'm not surprised because the problem with this side is that this is not connected traditionally like we see with, let's say, Armory and Archives. It's not connected with a door to door. It's connected to a door that goes to a hallway, which goes to a door. So if you're trying to rotate from sites, you're essentially more vulnerable than any other side on this map, and that's what makes it so weak. Toledo utilized that in their push. Of course, they did lose a couple of people, but they managed to keep the man advantage as well as keeping an eye out for any of the roamers returning to site, such as the Kaid upstairs countered by the sledge or the smoke coming in from bathroom. So they handled that perfectly, and now they're on match point looking to shut Santa Barbara out of map 2.
Yeah, really looking forward to that, trying to figure things out here. It's been Poseidon and Red Boy actually since the rehost have been really on top of things. It shows here is Poseidon 7-1, Red Boy 5-2. So Juice is not the big fragger, and really, we don't see that same thing for Santa Barbara. There is no top premier fragger for them. It's just been a vague team effort so far. And
I will say, if you're gonna point out Brown Boy, I want to point out my man Smoke. He's got 5 kills on the side of Santa Barbara. He deserves some recognition.
Okay, yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okami over here running Smoke Thermite only. Big respect to that. I will agree with that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no real big fragger in comparison to the 7K on main fragger for Toledo after the rehost. So I'm not saying kills are everything, but it's a good measure of how the team is escalating. And with it being match points, Santa Barbara has to know that the final nail's about to be in the coffin for map 2, and either they gotta go all in or they gotta start prepping themselves mentally for map 3.
They really have to figure something out, but I mean, they showed how easily they can shut out these next 2 sites. So we'll have to see now as Whoosh takes a little bit of damage. The damage nerf on that TCSG plus the high drop-off really is showing there, as Whoosh didn't even take 25 damage from a moderate distance. His cartwheel is sent reeling backwards with the shots coming out from, I think that was Juice, I'm not so sure, but there's no Zofia this time. They have to work with what Poseidon can provide with the frag grenades, and now there's a bit more pinch pressure being opted into this time by Toledo, a good adaptation themselves, as now this wall is finally opened a lot earlier than before. It's still that left wall though, and Cartwheel is being shot from the breach, I think, actually, from very far away. Chris has shoved himself into a corner here, and this is rough going, but Jasp is going to start things off onto Juice.
There is only about a minute left on the board, so Santa Barbara still has the opportunity to come back from this. Again, we just need to see the roamers buying more and more time, and we're seeing that starting to come out. Kaid, even though he doesn't do a lot of damage, just being a thorn in the side of Toledo's push, and with that Jaeger cementing himself in on the half wall and not even being watched by Twitch as she pushes in. No, gonna find 2 now. That's gonna be Thermite and Twitch taken off the board. That's gonna make it a 5v2, and they have to pick up Diffuser.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Replay C4, yeah.
Cartwheel taking out Naslayer, and it's just going to be Poseidon trying to find this Chris, but he's going to take a 3K, and that's a flawless round for Santa Barbara.
Yeah, huge find too. Just the first flawless that we've seen so far of this set, and it's just looking really rough these next 2 rounds. They did get themselves onto match points, so they've at least secured overtime, but their pushes are still so cautious. It seemed like there was a bit better work done there, if I can say things correctly. There's a bit better. It was just a better job by Toledo, and they were able to push in. But from there, I mean, not knowing that Chris had not rotated out is very, very risky. As now, finally, there's going to be an answer, even though it is a bandit and a Kaid, actually, to help get both sides of the map, both triple wall
Attackers need
and
to
the
locate
main
and
wall.
defuse bombs.
We're going to see the first Cali of the match, an operator that we don't really see much at all.
I'm honestly not surprised with Thatcher being off the board. They have to try to clear something out. And perhaps this Cali can do a little bit more less than the heavy recall on Twitch. They are bringing the IQ as well, perhaps, to clear from below. But between their 4 options with Thatcher being gone, they have Cali, IQ, Twitch, and Maverick. Maverick's difficult to master for anyone, especially utilizing his frag grenades with his Maverick holes. That's going to take time, and time is something that Toledo doesn't have to clean up. IQ has been working out well, so they're going to keep her. Twitch, they tried out, but she was cleared out fairly easily when she pushed in on Jaeger, and that recall can't be easy to control. That leaves Cali for them to try, and they have a couple of rounds to work with. Maybe they're even warming her up for the next map, map 3, if it gets to that.
Yeah, with the way, I mean, the rest of these defenses have been from Santa Barbara, you really have to put in that if. Chris, though, from below is actually going to be taken down by Bread Boy. That is massive here as he's going to get sprayed from below. I think he's going to offer himself up, but cautiously baiting him out as Bread Boy. There's wasted utility, though, and Chris has actually been stimmed and able to get out, so a lot of caution from Bread Boy not to just spam through the floor results in Chris being fully healed, basically. Even if that is 2 dock stims used by Okami, that is massive here for Santa Barbara to keep this operator on the board.
Yeah, but the one problem with that is, with all of that happening with Jaeger, we see that Toledo was able to open the breach onto Armory now, and that's going to be Chris dead anyways. That's 2 stim pistols gone, and the half-wall hold cleared. Now we're going to be relying on some sort of archives hold, as we're going to see the dock connect onto Nayslayer. That's Cali off the board, but she's already done her duty. And now the other thermite charge is going to go off. They're committing to an Armory side push.
Yeah, so this Armory side is going to be pretty rough as, waiting by the front door. The IQs are not going to get snapped on. Jasper's not hit his shots on the Bread Boy. Here comes flying around, but still, I mean, this is pretty solidly in favor of Santa Barbara. There's 4 attackers pushing from the same side, even though Floosh is going to swing in and find Okami. A nice find on the dock. Able to get that one for himself, and the rest of the attack is coming in to shut this one out. The IQ has pushed her way into a half-wall past Cartwheel here, as now the other 2 attackers are being pinged, but Floosh looking for more. Supports can do work, too. He's gotten himself 3 now, is swinging in as the Sophia, not going to be taken down, and this is shut out for Toledo here. Santa Barbara going down. The C4 misses out. At least Juice is cleaned up, but on slivers of HP, Jasp is looking for whatever scraps he can find. Whoosh is all that is low, but Toledo sends us to map 3, Consulate 7-4. Good on them.
Yeah, wonderful effort by Santa Barbara to bring it to the 7-4 scoreline. Unfortunately, they couldn't connect enough. They couldn't have the positioning, and that last round kind of fell apart. They got to get back together from map 3, the decider, which I believe, if I can check my notes, is going, yes, indeed, it's going to be on Consulate. So after a short break to allow the teams to get a little bit of water and stuff, we'll be back with map 3 on Coastline to finish out the Open Championship for CR6 Season 4.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for waiting for some time. However, it's going to have to be a little bit more as we've got some small technical issues going on. So we'll have to be taking a bit of an extended break just before map 3 here of Consulate. So we do massively apologize, but we hope you could... Ooh, excuse me. We hope you can stick around here and continue on watching and waiting for this third map. But I guess really that waiting for the third map is some nice tension being built up. So we will be back when the stream is coming back together after the players are all in the lobby. So we appreciate anyone sticking around for that. All right, welcome back. We're jumping into map 3 at long last. We so massively apologize for the long break, but thank you so much to everyone for sticking in with it. It's so just, it can't be said how much we appreciate everyone sticking around. All the tension built up over the last 20 or so minutes waiting for this map 3. We do have a little bit of a disappointing thing to say that Juice was not able to make it. Instead, we've got GVE subbing in for him. But still, it is up to Santa Barbara now to bring it back after they just lost Border and now really take it to Toledo here on Consulate.
Yeah. And speaking of Consulate, we're into the op bans now, and we're going to see Thatcher taken off the board by Toledo. Thatcher being one of those sort of mainstream attack bands, and now Blackbeard's going to be taken out as well. So Thatcher and Blackbeard already starting to mirror the bans from Border. Are we going to see Mira and Echo taken off as well?
Oh, 100%. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be ooh.
Valkyrie. That means we get to see Mira or Echo. That something special for map 3. Hallelujah.
I think Echo is going to be banned. I don't think. See, the thing is, though, you say that. No!
Cherish, you jinxed it. We're going to see Echo come out. Echo's going to stay. Mira's going to be banned. And are they going to use it? That's my biggest question. Is Echo actually going to be used?
The thing is, well, first off, I don't know what Santa Barbara's got against the Navy SEALs, but damn. They don't want either Blackbeard or Valk. I'm not sure. Actually, I can't remember who made the bans. I think it might have been. I don't remember. The point is, the
point is we need to cherish this map 3 for the Open Championships. What?
Have fun solo casting.
Oh my god.
No cherish puns are allowed. Anyway, it's Echo being left up is huge. I really feel like the thing is, so you think of Mira, and when I think of Mira strats particularly, I think of Border, and I think of like Bank Basement, and it's very very like, call them niche is wrong, but it's very specific things. You don't really think of Consulate as a Mira map. There's some small strats, I guess, that you could do that are okay, but that's the thing. It's nothing like Bank Basement where you're like, all right, we have to, push through the Mira where they can see when we plant rather than going off their intuition or their hearing. It's like, that's just a very strong placement for the Mira. That's a very strong Mira. There's no such thing really on Consulate, so I guess that's just a comfort ban here from Toledo, but it's just, I don't know. It feels weird leaving such a strong operator on really any map like Echo in favor of banning the Mira.
I think I gotta quote you on this as far as the Mira ban is concerned. Just the fact that it could be there, it doesn't matter if it's strong or not, makes it so hard to contest any room. And there are some good strong points. Like, for example, with the second floor hold, they could have used it to hold offices from that little closet that they put a rotation hole into. So it's a good thing that Mira is gone. Echo can be still countered by that IQ. You can also be seen out if it tries to move at the wrong time. So ultimately, I think Echo would be the easier out of the two to contest against.
Yeah, that is an interesting take on it, actually, I think, but I can definitely see it. So, Yeah, we'll have to see now if Echo really gets played. I think we're not going to see any really much Echo play these first 6 rounds, frankly, just because we know Toledo doesn't really pivot a ton, you know? So, we'll have to see.
I honestly hope that they do at least 1 or 2 rounds near the end of their first half, but we are going to see halftime already quickly approaching, as we're going to see some presence onto that rappel. Mozzie perhaps waiting for that run out, getting the calls perhaps, and that audio cue as well, waiting for the perfect time, and the pressure is going to start coming on. Mozzie finally committing, and he's going to find one, going to connect with Kyle. He's going to be found out. That's the Nomad off the board, but the air jab is going to flatten him out, and that's going to be a refrag coming out from Chris.
Yeah, at least though, the Nomad was taken down. Breadboy's going to deny the plant. Actually, no, it was stuck still. So there's one on the window here. It's Chris, and Okami is on a single piece of health. Breadboy is very low. Foosh is full, and as is Poseidon, but they really have to push to make this one work. Okami is on single-digit HP. So this is really rough going for Toledo as they have to push into him and the man outside. They have no clue that he's there, though. Hiding behind the shelf. He's going to get one. He's not going to be found out either here. As now the Zophia's swinging over. Chris is going to pick up one. And despite the man advantage, this is one out by Santa Barbara round 1. And they have put their foot down here on map 3 already.
And with that, that's going to officialize it as Capital takes out the Jaeger. Santa Barbara does indeed take round 1, and that's on 2nd floor as well. That's one of the strongest sites on this map, and they just clear it like it's nothing.
And further on that, too, they planted... to call it like the old days feels a little weird, but still, we don't really see that console push anymore, where they just kind of swing from the windows like that, and that was just... in general, that's just such a huge momentum swing already from Santa Barbara. And that was just such a strong holdout on that round.
And already we're going to see a little bit of change up coming out of Toledo. Poseidon's going to go to Kai. Will he 6-pick back to a Doc or perhaps an Echo? Yes, he's going back to the Doc. Toledo, again, like you were saying, not really known for their flexibility. I'm not saying it's a bad aspect, but they did lose that first defense round, so a little bit of change wouldn't be adverse for them.
I think that's something that, I think that's probably something we should at least point out, if not, really initiate on further. Calling, I guess, like, especially since I'm the one that does it a lot, saying that Toledo's, like, very rigid in their operator structure or anything doesn't innately mean, like, it's bad or anything. Like, I'm not criticizing it. It happens that they are just really comfortable on these 8 or so ops, and while it's really counterable in high levels of play, we haven't obviously seen that. We've seen them now make it to the finals, and they are 1-1 in these finals, so... maybe we'll see if it's Santa Barbara able to punish this this commitment to the same operators, but really it's just whatever works for Toledo. And you know, as much as we want to sit here and say, oh, they just run the same ops, they do the same stuff, this and that, yeah, but like, you know, there's tons of teams that don't do that and they didn't make the finals. So I guess if it works, it works. So we'll see now.
Yeah, we're gonna see Kyle already pushing forward with the same Nomad strat that should protect him from any sort of or at least allow one of his teammates to get the refrag, as we saw in round 1. We are going to see a little bit of a different presence as we see IQ pushing up now, trying to clear out this bathroom area with her IQ gadget. Already, I think Santa Barbara is a little bit more confident they're pushing out. They already have someone on the rappel, they have the Nomad gadget set up, and they've also cleared, I believe, a Maestro turret off of that B site.
Yeah, the clear's already coming in from Santa Barbara. They're doing well with this. As Red Boy's at least downstairs this time around to help out GVE. And oh, I thought someone died, but I couldn't see the kill feed. I had no clue Jas was going down so quickly. But they seem... Santa Barbara seems very aware that operators are running around downstairs, GVE looking probably to get aggressive. It's nice to see at least that he's not going to jump out once again. I'm not sure where all the air jabs are. I know one is on the meeting platform, the suicide balcony, but other than that, I'm not sure where the rest are.
If it mixed round one, there should also be one on the main lobby door, which is where Mozzie tried to enter in after the run out back in round one.
Okay.
So that's at least two of them. The third one's probably on some sort of connector or something.
I would have to
perhaps.
It could be yellow, it could be connector. Yeah, I don't know where they are. The point is. But yeah, this round is going a lot slower, and that feels really nice for Toledo. But the plant is coming down. There's nothing to stop it. Okami is not getting zapped. He's not getting smoked, and he's got the plant down. Cartwheel as well picks up GVE. Okami picks up Slays. Poseidon at least able to pick back onto Kyle, but that is huge that the plant is down. At the least, Chris and Cartwheel are pretty low, but the Jaeger is shut down alongside alongside Poseidon, actually. Is just whoosh. Is all alone on the smoke, 25 health, a single canister, and shut down. Santa Barbara is really making a statement here.
And it's strange because we were looking at the first floor defenders earlier, and I could hear a C4 prepped in case someone went inside the B window. And then that defender rotated away, and that C4 never came into play. That's wasted utility that they couldn't use. Perhaps the call out could have come out, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on inside the head of Toledo right now. They're now going to switch down to basement, trying to change things up as they've lost second floor CEO twice now.
Yeah. You really have to go for that change, even though they weren't, super far ahead rounds kill-wise in the end. The thing you have to look at, too, really is how they ended up finishing things out. And really, the fact that you can get a plant down 5v5 is, it sounds weird, but it is really a blowout. It's a very powerful thing. And, you're not normally expected to get 5v5 plants down, or even really massive just team sizes when the plants are coming down, just because there's so much still up. But because of that, that just shows really a little less so that Santa Barbara is so massively ahead of Toledo or something crazy like that, but more so that... What is that claw? Oh.
I think he's just experimenting with the range a little bit, trying to see what he can do that might be unorthodox, but of course it's not going to work out, and it's going to lie flat against her, so perhaps that could protect from IQ a little bit longer against that little divot of the reinforcement. But if the attackers of Santa Barbara get that piano room control, we're going to see Garage Wall fall pretty quickly. Only Nayslayer playing the Maestro is in there with GVE, the sub 4 Juice, and Bread Boy, on the second floor to try to help deny that.
It's actually interesting. Really, you don't even need piano control right now for the roster that Santa Barbara has brought to open up that wall. You just need sure, it helps a bit for the Maverick, but it seems like they're not even opting into a Thermite or a Hibana anymore. They're just doing Mav-tricking.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, but the one issue I have with Maverick tricking is that it allows the defenders to more or less immediately know that, oh, Maverick's here, he's getting ready to open, and now it's off, so it has no allegiance. Of course, they are going to breach it open anyways. Brown Boy's going to fall on the second floor. The grenade's not going to quite connect with it.
Yeah, it's opened up enough at least, but yeah, Bread Boy has fallen, so that is a huge find for Santa Barbara already. The wall is open too. And this is their round, really. I think it's a tiny bit early to say, but still, it's their round to lose.
The one advantage is that with the Roamers wasting the time of these attackers so they can't push down from the second floor, they have to focus on the breach. And with the breach in mind, we do see a lot of guns point towards it, including the SMG of Smoke. He's going to go ahead and toss one of the canisters to slow down these attackers.
Oh,
and
it's
now,
just rolling, yeah.
Yep, 3K coming out from Santa Barbara, just picking up 2, and now it's it's just going to be Smoke trying to hold his own. Only one canister and 25 HP. Diffuser's down. Time's running out for him to find anything. In a 5v1 flawless round, Santa Barbara picks out round 3, and it's definitely interesting to say the least compared to what we saw back in map 2 where Toledo was just dominating.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even think really that this is, a Juice versus GVE thing at all. I know some people will say, oh, if they had Juice, it would have been different. Excuses, not trying to be rude or anything, or put down anyone, but excuses will always come out for something like this. Oh, if Juice had working internet, if Juice had, if Juice was there, it would have been different. Just that stuff always comes out. It's always come out in stuff like this, in traditional sports as well. If X player wasn't injured, if X player got more playing time, that stuff always comes out from fans. And it really does suck that Toledo's top player, one of the league's top fraggers in the Open League, is not in here, even though he's been having a rough night because of his internet. It really does suck that this is, just how esports is, and that's all we can say about it. But to put the blame on GVE or anything like that is both really doing a disservice to GVE, who is coming in probably not super warmed up and still playing his roles the way he has to. And it's also really just not giving it all to Santa Barbara. They seem so comfortable attacking and picking out the flaws already from Toledo's defenses. They've seen so comfortable just pushing through the garage, getting that open early on. Within the first minute and a half, they took upstairs control very quickly. They found picks where they need to, almost finding Bread Boy there with the window spam. But they just, it's to say this is all on a single player change just is wrong for anything of that nature.
Right, and now we're going to see not even a Kaid Club being placed down there. Poseidon's going to be actually on the dock now, so that's even less utility. But with the Maverick there, he was going to clear anyway, and now they're going with some sort of different clear, put some presence onto that white van. Is that going to bite Santa Barbara? Not really, because they don't really have anyone positioned in that area to counter it.
A little bit of a weird Maverick trick going on, but he's making it work, I guess.
Yeah, the one problem is he will take a little bit of damage from the Maestro turret. That slight bit of damage could change the tide once this wall opens up, and he's using a lot of his utility to open up that secondary hole. We might not be looking at a breach coming out from the garage side this time.
Ooh. Missed C4 there from not sure who, but GVE launched that bad boy out of CEO Windows, console Windows rather. So he's down that now, which is actually pretty big considering one of the Maestro turrets is gone and you just have Floosh as the other or the other plant denial. Not sure who's going to be used here to open up the wall. I think they might use one of Jasp's frag grenades as well, but that thing is soft. And we are waiting for that to get open. Bread Boy is going to come into contact here with Chris, but he is pushed up a bit, and neither seem to be aware of the other's position. Bread Boy is now going to see the flick from the side, and he's going to find the head of Chris. A good find upstairs. No one covering the Zofia, neither player aware of the other's presence until Bread Boy found him. At least two. GVE was prepped and waiting for the refrag. The wall is going to start to get opened up here thanks to Akami spraying it down, while Kyle is waiting on the wings, but the smokes are all gone now. Whoosh wasting those out, as now the push has to come in. It's still now looking so much better already for Toledo.
Yeah, the main issue is going to come for time on the side of Santa Barbara. The fact that Maverick used so much utility and so much time on opening up that secondary hole, odds are it's gonna end them. Just trying to make up for it by taking smoke off the board. Now it's to 4v4, but the plan's gonna be denied this time by I believe, yes, GVE making his worth. As Capita is gonna be taken out. Cartwheel going for it now, and the plan's sticking. going to be a 3v2 as Nomad managed to pick up one for herself, but the attacker has to get off the plant, unfortunately, to save up, I believe, or no, actually be downed. And so that's going to be a round in the favor of the defenders of Toledo.
Yeah, huge find there. And it's good on Toledo too to finally really stop this momentum, but still, I mean, the thing about Consulate that I found is in lower tiers it still swings more defender sided, but by nature the map is the same idea like I brought up on Border. It's that 55-45 split of being 3-3 where it leans more towards the attack just that slight bit by being a attacker sided. So you'll see if you do see a 4-2 side from anyone, it'll more than likely be the attack, but you normally do see that 3-3 split. So Santa Barbara is in a really good spot looking towards this defense half already, but coming into, the next two rounds, Toledo has either a console meeting site that has been very handily beaten by Santa Barbara twice, or they have a secondary site, or rather their tertiary site, which is, your third site for a reason on most maps. And here, I think they'll go lobby press. I think a lot of teams go lobby press, but I still think the split site is a lot better to control just because it's kind of like if you lose the site, it's not the end of the world because then you only lose the upstairs site and you kind of almost always will have a pulse or someone else playing with a shotgun and a C4 combo. So it's usually tolerable if you lose the upstairs site, whereas if you lose the upstairs or the site itself on press and lobby, it's rough going. But we'll have to see now where this console meeting take goes. And really, what do you think? What do you think Toledo has to do to not lose this site for a third time now?
Toledo has to change how they manage this site. We're probably going to see an air run out, but odds are attackers are going to be watching for it, and the Nomad air jabs as well. So it's just getting stuck in the same strategy, unfortunately. And not that it's a bad strategy, but it's just being countered by Santa Barbara's setup. And they need to keep some utility onto that B side. They keep going on this rappel. They keep on entering. They're not bringing, let's say, a pulse and having him playing piano, because we don't see these Santa Barbara attackers pushing into piano. They're just repelling outside. They're not pushing in. You put pulse right there. You keep him down below. Perhaps even a Valkyrie with a C4, Valkyrie's banned. Ignore that. A Maestro accompanied by, let's say, Mozzie down below. Maestro gives the call. Mozzie tosses the C4, denies the plant behind desk. Some sort of coordination like that, especially since we don't see any first floor clear coming out from Santa Barbara, could work out very well.
Already the plant is coming down, though. GVE falls as does Floosh. That is really rough going. The jump in was not at all denied. Slazy goes down as well. Now the Maverick cleans up one. At least Poseidon is able to get back onto Chris, but it's a 2-on-4, a 1-on-4 now is from below. Jasp picks up his second. It's up to Poseidon. He's at least not even going to clean up Jasp for 3. A nice job by the Maverick. And this is all in favor of Santa Barbara on this upstairs.
As soon as Santa Barbara gets their teeth sunken into that beast site, there's no pushing them back. Toledo, if they're going to keep going upstairs, they need to do something to change that. Whether it's trap operators, whether it's using a pulse, whether it's just anything that can deny that more readily than they already are. Because right now, it's actively being countered by Santa Barbara, and so that's not going to work. As soon as they execute, they know exactly where the defenders are going to go to. They know that Jaeger's on yellow stairs, Doc's going to be on long desk. They have the intel where they know more or less where the defenders most likely would be, and they push that and they punish them for it. So something needs to change, and finally, there it is, Echo coming on the board. This could work out very well, but we are going to first floor lobby. I don't know if I want to see that with the first time that Echo's being played. I'd almost rather see them go upstairs again and have Echo play perhaps somewhere deep in offices or perhaps next to that projector table, something different. But I don't know if this is the play. I'm honestly nervous for Toledo because changing the op and changing the site, two lefts don't make a right.
Yeah,
Not necessarily.
I think it's definitely. I mean, yeah, there's no way better to put it, really. I mean, just trying to do too many things just to fix your problems is not the right play. I think picking the Echo is a massive help, but I mean, further on too, it's not like they didn't have info in that site. They had Maestro cams in there. They could have pinged out for GVE. They could have had the C4 from below. It just happened that GVE didn't let it rip. And I think, that little bit of play can be criticized because there's a error in communication between Slays and GVE or whoever else is on cams and getting that C4 down, because that's clearly why the Mozzie is down there. He's not down there just for his own amusement or to run out of stuff. He's down there because he's got to just create as much pressure and C4 away. So, it's very interesting that we didn't see that C4 come 3 rounds, even though that's what the strat is built on. But now the upstairs pressure comes out here from Santa Barbara, rather, not Toledo, as GV matrixes around some bullets, and the attack is in full swing, clearing out up top.
Alright, so now they're in Consulate Office, where the B-site used to be for second floor. And now, finally, we're going to see some sort of contesting for second floor. Red Boy is going to take out Chris on the Sophia. He's going to contend against one more on the Rappel for offices. And Yellow Stare is going to get the refrag. Mozzie on long desk taken out by Jasp on the map. And it makes me nervous, but halftime has approached now, and already it's working a little bit better in favor of Toledo. And rather than waiting for the last second and having Santa Barbara execute, they are trading more, but Brown Boy going to be caught on his way out. And that's going to make it in the man advantage of Santa Barbara with plenty of time to perhaps initiate on it.
Yeah, there is a good bit of time, but at the same time from that, I mean, these are really the 3 operators you want kept alive. You want the Smoke, Maestro, Echo. These are the 3 best post-plant denial operators. Just, I mean, really by a good margin. Or rather, not post-plant. They're just the 3 best plant denial operators when used correctly. So now Slays is going to fall so that he can remain safe downstairs while on cams. And Foosh is actually getting aggressive. Capital is going to see him. They're going to trade some shots for a quick second, but now he's actually going to approach it again with the shotgun out. But Okami has fled. He's going to come press as well, actually, drop onto the stage, and he sees one prone. I have no clue who that was prone in the doorway, but the Smoke saw it. Foosh saw the man prone, but the plant comes down regardless. Cartwheel able to clean up one. The Echo's not able to deny it, and it's just up to Foosh and Poseidon. Foosh downstairs not able to shoot up through the press balk either. And this is so rough for Toledo. They now have to retake this together, but watching eagerly for the Echo, not able to see the IQ. Poseidon's gonna fall because of that. Smoke all on his lonesome against at least 2 down who are low, Jasp and Cartwheel, but this is just locked out for Santa Barbara. They're gonna go up 5-1, and this is great looking for their defensive half already.
And with that, the time passes for the Fuser. He's gonna save up, actually, downing Jasp, and he's not gonna be pushed. And 5-1 for Santa Barbara. 5-1. Losing half of the rounds to that second floor site has to be detrimental to what Toledo's mindset is going into this half. And now they got an even bigger mountain to climb than Santa Barbara did back on map 2. To say I'm worried for Toledo is just understating it, honestly. But we're going to see Garage come out first rather than the second floor objective, already changing compared to what Toledo did on their dudes.
And I really do think this is that's an interesting change from the Echo to the Bandit. But regardless, I think this is the best option here for Santa Barbara. I mean, we've seen part of the thing with Toledo is that they have very hesitant attacks. They're very cautious on their attack, probably because of no Thatcher to help it. But I mean, you know, you go to the site where the main focus is the garage. The back site is very rarely pushed just because it is truly a kill box in its own right. But from there, I mean, you now add in the way that this wall is prepped. It's looking like Jasp might trick it, which is very risky, but still, I mean, getting a denier on this wall without a Thatcher for a team that attacks cautiously, and now they're out of their main entry player, their main confidence boost. It's to say it's looking bleak is very rough, just because, I mean, this is just such a turtle-focused site, and Santa Barbara is setting up in a way that Toledo can't really. Their attacking style by nature is just going to struggle here.
I will say, Toledo does have something they could utilize, and we can see it right now. There's no roamers on the first floor nor the second floor. Everyone's on the bottom floor right now. If they get control of that piano room, they can clear the bandit charges and push in through the breach on garage. Or perhaps even come in through the back somewhere unexpected, seemingly to wait for her teammates to clear that upstairs area so that she can begin entering on in. And IQ already up there clearing it out now, so Toledo has a chance. They're not out of this round yet just because Thatcher's... Now the pressure coming out, some of those bandit charges cleared, now the breach charge to make it a little bit easier for her to open up. And Zofia taking out Jasper to boot. That's going to be the bandit clear off the board. They're going to be able to open up that garage wall.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, the pellets are going to open up on the left side, and still, that's a good find, but this is the problem with your one breacher being Hibana versus Thermite. First off, you're not going to get both sides of the wall open, which is usually very helpful. And further, now there's no more breaching capabilities. Foosh has used all his pellets, I believe, even though this is huge. GVE finds a second. The Fearless Initiator is, I guess, transferred from Juice to GVE. He is all in on this, and this is wow. That's a weird spot from Okami, but he is holding down the fort, I guess. So waiting for this full front side push in here is the Maestro ready to go. Kyle still has his C4, and there's still the rifle of Chris all on the board. From here, though, it is pretty cautious going, even though this is good from Toledo. They're able to find picks. Now the Maestro is able to send one back after Chris fell on the flank, but a nice shot from Poseidon shuts down the Maestro. This is all over. Toledo shuts them down, and the garage take is successful against everything that we had predicted. And Toledo's looking to make a statement back off a 3K from GVE.
I gotta say, I'm glad that they were able to execute on that. Not only did they clear piano and work with that, but they followed through with it. It worked out well for them. They kept the pressure up, and not only that, they had communication. You can see that from the fact that Maestro gets the kill onto one of the attackers on yellow stairs. Immediately, the second attacker who's there, they get the call in the comms. They wait just long enough to get that call, and then they peek it and take Maestro out. That means that Toledo, while they are down, they're communicating, they're working together, and they're trying to come back on this map. Even though they have the round disadvantage, they're not out of this yet.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And so now we get to go upstairs to second floor. Do you think that Toledo's going to be able to punish Santa Barbara like they did to them back in the first half of this map?
I don't think so, honestly. I think the way that, I mean, it feels wrong to just say one operator is going to change that, just saying having the Wamai is going to change that. But I do think that the Wamai is going to help massively because there's, first off, part of the strength of Santa Barbara's attack, too, their push, was having the Capitao. And, you know, even if there's a Capitao 6-picked, if it came out from Toledo, that would be denied by the Wamai. The Wamai shows a lot of strength, and now Toledo has to push from this admin side and full take from this admin side rather than the big window side of things here. And yeah, I mean, their lineup too just doesn't show the same way that Santa Barbara's lineup showed, in the sense that there was just a lot more just outright speed push with the Capitao that isn't really present, you know, from Toledo. These operators don't have the same strength. Whoa. Oh. From below, GVE tries to get onto Chris, but Chris says no, he's not going to be down just yet, and Breadboy has to push out, and Chris is actually going to live. He's going to be able to get healed by Jasp as well. Dimmed up a good bit for himself. He's almost back up to full, and I mean, for his troubles, you lost 2 stims for what ended up being 10 damage onto Jaeger, and a dead body with Breadboy down to half. Good start for CF.
Yeah, that makes me very nervous for Toledo. Losing Zofia in that vertical gunfight is not something you need right now. And then looking at the utility on the board, Thermite's not going to be able to do much, at least not until he gets inside. And just the utility available out of the potential, Toledo doesn't have it. They have to rely on their gun skill and positioning in order to win this fight, I think. And even so, we're not going to be seeing runouts coming out from Santa Barbara, I don't think, you know. No one's really in the position to do that. And even if they do, we're going to see Nomad potentially just denying them their efforts.
And Nomad is very strong too on this map, just because there's so many windows and doors that the defense really likes to run out on. It's why Blackbeard was also dropped by Santa Barbara. Any map where there's a lot of windows and areas for the Beard to hang on, he just loves that because he can do that. He can upside down hang and become obnoxious to deal with. You thought it was awful trying to hit a head without a shield. Try and hit a head where it blocks 3 bullets worth of damage. So it's always annoying to deal with him here. But another big thing about this defense is the smoke on white stairs, or rather yellow stairs, something normal that we see, but he's able to hold firm here, and he's not been pushed down. Now with 10 seconds to go, there's no push coming. They're not able to swing in just yet. The smokes are coming down, and Breadboy is actually all the way in. Floosh is as well, but he's being shot from the Maestro laser. He's being shot as well by Chris. Breadboy is able to find Cartwheel, but no plant came down because it was a few seconds remaining. And that is map point, match point, and finals point here in the CR6 Open Championships for Santa Barbara, looking to shut this one out.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for Toledo to come back from this if they're even able to. And we see this, again, very rigid setup coming up. We are seeing that we're going to go back down to cafeteria and garage, so perhaps the thermite could work out well. But given that Santa Barbara knows how they cleared during the last basement hold, they might be able to counter it. And we're going to see Goyo brought out to try to hold this, as well as Echo. So this may be checkmate, but no, the Echo is actually going to be 6-pick to Vigil, which is not a bad pick, but I find it a little bit questionable given that Echo can be so strong in denying plant, especially on the site, but IQ would put a little bit of a nail into that coffin. So
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
It's interesting, yeah, that Santa Barbara hasn't really opted into the Echo yet. They just keep shadowing it and then dropping away from it. So this was always a strong thing too, back especially when he had 3 shields, but 2 still works. The Goyo being picked an operator now since his nerf, we don't really see very much of it all, but yet he used to put in between all the gaps between either the cars and each other or the cars and the walls. He'd put each shield, and it really worked fantastically for stymieing any push. And they just 3 shields is still, or 2 shields is still very obnoxious, but at least it's not 3, I guess. So it's interesting though that I mean, that just shows how influential a lot of utility can be in Siege in general, and just for some of these operators really too. I mean, Goyo was 3 shields, and we saw him on, I'd say, a solid 40 to 50% of defenses, but now that he's 2 shields, we see him only nichely like now on Consulate, but this is a good start from Toledo, a great start in fact. 30 seconds in, they've got the walls open thanks to that thermite.
Indeed. Already a minute off the clock, and gotta see these attackers put some more pressure onto the site now, trying to clear this utility as fast as possible, but Mozzie on the 2nd floor, ready to flank in now, and Jasper and Mozzie trying to find out these attackers, trying to prevent them from clearing out the utility. Breach is already open, and I don't know. Perhaps if Toledo pushes in soon enough before the roamers can return to the site, they can capture it and manage the plan. And we're going to see that start off now, as Maestro's going to be taken off the board by Red Bull on the IQ. That's going to leave only 2 on site. Roamers got to start getting downstairs now, and
A bomb has been located.
halftime now on the board. And now the 2nd anchor is going to be lost. Jess returning the side now to make it 2. Mozzie has to be getting those calls that he needs to return, but he's going to still hold for the time being. And the pings are coming out to show him where the planter is.
Plant has gotten off, at least until now. Foosh is able to start it back up, but this is locked out for Toledo again, looking for flawless here. Diffuser's planted, and Kyle is not able to pick anything up. He's down to half health here, and it is all full health for Toledo already. Kyle is just gonna play chilly, I guess, look for any picks that he can. And really the way I think this should be done is Kyle should play back while Toledo hunts for him. But no, we're going to see the first flawless round for Toledo. They show they're very confident on this garage take. And yeah, the reason I was saying that is because, you know, you're going to have to go either to your 3rd site here if you're Santa Barbara, or you have to go to Cafeteria Garage again. They're going to opt for that 3rd site, but still, either way, it's your 3rd site or it's a site you've been getting cleaned up on. It's probably best to just chill out, talk things out, let it go, while on the other side of things, if you're Toledo, you don't want to give them that. You don't want to give them that time to try and think about how to lock you out. So, I mean, it works really well if they were to just hunt him down, not give Santa Barbara that time to talk it out. But regardless, it doesn't matter. Kyle didn't opt into the stall and the timeout, the mock timeout, and yeah, we're seeing lobby press. So do you think this is where Santa Barbara wins it out, or do you think Toledo holds off for one more round?
It's going to come down to the roamers on the 2nd floor. If Toledo can manage to clear them rather fast, or even just push in and quickly take site before the roamers can counter them, or even the anchors, they could take an air round and keep on racking up points. But Santa Barbara is really just looking to put the nails in the coffin, and I really think they're going to do it either this round or the next. I don't think Toledo's going to be able to make a comeback. If they do, good on them. You know, I'll starve myself with my coveted Whataburger if that happens. But at least as far as probability or something like that goes, I don't think Toledo's going to make it back. They have to be perfect, and as humans, we are imperfect. So that alone gives me basis to say that Santa Barbara is going to win this out over Toledo.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, it really does. Plus, with the castle, I think this upstairs hold is much more comfortable for Santa Barbara, much more worked out, and I mean, it really is on GV and Poseidon here to try and make this one work, but there's just so much movement capable from Santa Barbara here on the upstairs with all their rotations they've got set up that it's really looking like this is just a lockout for Santa Barbara already. That's saying very much, and I know that, but assuming everyone plays everything the way that it's been played to this moment, it's a very Santa Barbara favored defensive hold here.
Yeah, now minutes already off the clock, and we're going to see Chris already being pressured, but that castle barricade, I could hear the punching. Someone's being held up by it. We're going to see Thermite over in Copper Room as IQ is going to breach charge into Projector, trying to close in on these roamers now. Chris is going to be holding steady, however, as well as Doc on the top of main stairs. Poseidon, however, picking up Castle, taking him off the board, making it 5v4. Halftime now passed, and the roamers are doing their job pretty well. They're not aggressively pushing too much. We're going to see Kyle taking out Red Boy, and they're just doing their job of wasting time without exposing themselves too much.
That's a crazy angle, too. Usually we see that one played by an ACOG operator, but yeah, this is just huge from Kyle here. GVE is able to pick up Chris as well, though. He's showing up in this match so far. Sub or not, he's playing pretty well, and now both Jasp and Kyle are going to fall back downstairs a bit, looking for the rest of the attackers. Jasp is going to get healed up for his troubles, but now it is all still up to these three defenders, and it is Maestro and Smoke, which is really good alongside Kyle, who's been a bit quiet comparatively to his teammates, but still, it is all on Toledo here to really break this one out, and it's going to be a problem here because we've got 15 seconds left, and they have to hot drop into sight, and with these operators left up, oh, this is looking rough. Planter's not even in the building. It's 10 seconds to go. We've got Red Timer on the board. The Smoke still has all three canisters. He's going to get to work burning things out. One is down. Slays is down. At least it's traded back. Jas picks up one. GVE goes down. The Planter is out, but it is Floosh outside. And no, the Doc is swung on. It's all up to Floosh here. He's not going to be able to pick up the Smoke just yet. And a nice shot from Cartwheel, and that will do it for us. UC Santa Barbara is your Open Division champions, coming out with a huge victory, 7-3 on Consulate. Whew, that was a nice round to end on, the most hype round we could have ended with.
And so Santa Barbara takes it, finishing map 3-7-3 now, and Jas is going to be the final MVP of the night. We're going to bring in one of Santa Barbara's members in for a quick interview before we end the night, and I'm excited, man. Like, that was a wonderful matchup to watch, just seeing them go back and forth, and even when the scorelines were so far apart, we saw the teams rally, and unfortunately for fans of Toledo and the players of Toledo, Santa Barbara managed to win out this one this time.
Yeah, so that is very nice to see, but we will be getting a small interview, actually, as it is going to be Jasp coming on in for the interview that we'll have getting in here soon enough, and we'll get to pick his brain about what he feels with this one. So, how you doing tonight, Jasp?
Hello, hi. Still shaking up from the wind.
Yeah. You are good. So, first off, obviously, congrats on the win. Great job. I didn't get to really watch this season, but regardless, great job on the season. Great job on the finals win.
Thank you.
So, coming out of things, how did you feel really going into this set as a whole?
I know most of you guys don't know this, but we formed our team late this fall season. So our team is like almost brand new. We don't have a lot of experience in playing competitive, but like like-minded gamers were like, hey, let's try out collegiate league, try to win some prize. But as we practice more, play more games, we got confident in our ability, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still I don't even know what to say. My teammates are just great. We kept our focus up. Coming in for the final match, we're very nervous and anxious, but my teammates were very good. They pulled through, and I'm just so proud of them. Yeah.
Yeah, on that, how did you guys, what was, if I may ask, what was going through your guys' head coming out of losing Border there?
Um, it was tough. Border is actually one of our strong maps too. Um, but like our coach was talking to us, we were usually better when we attack first, but I mean, when we're usually better when we defend first, but I think attacking first kind of threw us off as a team. Not a lot of us didn't really know what we're doing initially. Um, but hey, we got back on consulate. Everybody got back. Is yeah.
Yeah, you really did. Do you have any questions, DJ?
I think my main question is going to be did the technical difficulties, and that was on everyone's side tonight, whether it was you being
Right,
production or you
right.
from the teams, did that affect y'all at all? Did that ruin your momentum or your mentality, or was it just what you needed to keep things in balance?
Oh, definitely. I mean, most of us, I think 3 out of 5 of us, still play on our laptops. We don't have any good gears. We barely get like 100 frames. Like our internets are really bad because we don't play in school anymore because of all the quarantine. Um, on that note, I hope you guys are staying safe. Wash your hands. But yeah, very. I don't know about today, but it was just really bad for everyone. But definitely for my personal side, restarting after the border game actually made my computer run better. And in consulate, I was able to do my job and frag out.
Nice, nice. I gotta say, I feel for you, man. I used to play for Angelo State back in like season 1 and 2 of CR6, and I played on an HP notebook. That was like the worst laptop you could play at all. And
Yeah, wow.
Oh,
so
man.
I believe you when you say 3 of your players were on laptops and you still got all the way to open championships. So very well
Yeah,
done.
our teammates are amazing. If UCSB, faculty or any of you guys are watching, please support us with the gears and stuff. That'd be nice. But yeah, definitely technical difficulties on our end. Not a good frames, not good internet, but as a team, we were able to refrag out, join each other out, and staying on top of our toes. Helping each other, not being toxic. That was a big thing too. But yeah, I think that mentality is what got us the win.
All right. Well, congratulations. I think that's about all the questions we have for you. We're going to go ahead and let you go back to your team so you can celebrate, whether it be with ranked or a wonderful, wonderful meal from wherever you may get it. So,
Thank you guys.
congratulations. You are our Open Championship winners.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
You too.
And so, with that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Tomorrow, make sure to tune in. I believe that's going to be around 5 Eastern. I'm sure someone will correct me at some point, but it's going to be in the afternoon. We're going to see the All-Stars matches, both from the Open League top players and the Premier players, best of ones coming out for those, as well as the big leagues, the big Premier Championship that's going to be Simon Fraser and University of California State, Long Beach. I'm sure I mixed that up along the way, but that's the right words at least. We're going to see them tomorrow, and we hope you'll tune back in as we're going to have yet another day of wonderful matchups for this weekend of CR6. Thank you, everyone.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy disappear like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. I prayed for you and kept you near in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me. Oh you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me. Oh you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas, oh you meant the world to me.
Oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you.